breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage way before they came aboard with us. They are your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. And get this, New Day will beat their major competitors' price, oftentimes by half. That's half the price. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 901-351-5177. That's 901-351-5177. New Day Overhead Doors.
You saved my life. You held my hand when I was scared. You helped me say goodbye to my dad. You were an example for me. You gave me strength when I thought I had none left. I couldn't tell you then, but I want to say thank you, all of you, for everything. Thank you to the physicians, nurses, and others working in America's hospitals and health systems. A message from the American Hospital Association, American Medical Association, and American Nurses Association.
What if you were wearing something sexy? What if you were drinking? What if you made the first move? No matter what, sexual assault is never your fault. Support is available 24/7 through the National Sexual Assault Hotline. Call 1-800-656-HOPE or visit RAINN.org. That's RAINN.org. This is Christina Ricci with RAINN, reminding you it's never your fault.
Brought to you by RAINN and this station.
This is a St. Jude moment.
Ashton was a high-level athlete, and in an instant, your world flips. And your healthy 5-year-old competitive cheerleader has a brain tumor. And the physician was like, your best option is St. Jude. Receiving treatment that was life-saving for our child and knowing that that treatment would be of no cost to us was a huge weight lifted.
Learn more at stjude.org.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. This hour of Sports 56 Mornings is brought to you by Action247.com. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
We've moved another day closer. We are now just 48 hours away from getting up Christmas morning, hopefully safely, soundly with your family, to find out what Santa brought you. Welcome in. It is the Thursday, December 23rd, 2021 edition of Sports 56 Mornings. I am Eli Savoy. No Greg Gaston once again today. He'll be back sometime next week. Zach Boyd is here producing the program live from the Family Leisure Studios. And that is where family and fun come together, Family Leisure. You still got time to get by there and get a last-minute gift for somebody and one that they will absolutely enjoy. They got their Christmas sale going on right now at Family Leisure, 2120 Winton Road. It's just north of I-40. First hour of our program brought to you each and every day by the folks at Action 24/7. They are the local sports book here in the state of Tennessee. I will let you know that today going to be another nice day. It's been a nice week. It's been a little chilly, but it's getting warmer and warmer, and we're going to have a really warm Christmas day if the forecast holds true. But today, mostly sunny once again. A little bit warmer. Highs today expected to get up into the low 60s. So it should be another beautiful day. Day you can actually get outside and do some things. Temperatures up in the 60s. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, highs in the low 70s. Christmas Day, high is supposed to be in the mid-70s, around 75 degrees for a high on Christmas Day. There is some slight chance of rain over the next couple of days, but it's very, very minimal. Looks like we're going to have a lot of sunshine. Some clouds moving in later today, but for the most part, a lot of sun and warmer temperatures here for your Christmas holiday. So that should be very enjoyable for folks out there, unless you like a white Christmas. Well, then you're screwed. But if you like a white Christmas, Memphis probably not the place for you, because you're not going to get many white Christmases here in Memphis. You can always be a part of our program. The AutoZone listener line is available to you to either call or text 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. You can text anytime throughout the program, anything that's on your mind that we're talking about, or if you got questions or comments, we welcome those on the text line 901-360-8255. And when we have some open segments, we can take those phone calls as well, again, on the AutoZone listener line. You can also comment if you're watching us live, and if you are watching us live, you can see that I am in the festive spirit. Old Scrooge over there, no Christmas spirit whatsoever today. Zach Boyd, just normal Zach Boyd today.
Oh yeah,
I come with the Santa hat. I went the red shirt so it would match. I mean, I'm in the festive spirit. Some of us here are in the festive spirit. You know, all that Christmas music yesterday got me in the Christmas spirit, and you just nothing, just ice cold, just Scrooging it up today.
yeah, you're right. Because once I leave here, I'm disabling all of my alarms, so I'm going to sleep good Friday.
See, you got that. That's why you should be in the Christmas spirit.
I am in the Christmas spirit, but I wore red yesterday, so I decided to wear a little teal. You know,
I got my hat on. I'm ready to go. Santa is here. It's Santa time. There's no doubt. But if you're watching us live, you could comment. You could do that. You could watch us live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. You could go to our website, sports56whbq.com. Find the link there to watch us live, and you could comment by messaging us on any of those as well. So there are plenty of ways to get a hold of us. Coming up on today's show, it's a very busy show because we've got a couple of our Friday guests. With no show tomorrow, we have moved both John Varlas and Matt Dillon to today. So John Varlas will be coming up at about 7:25, about 20 minutes from now. We'll talk with him about everything going on in the world of sports, including a very alarming situation happened earlier this week at a high school basketball game, dealing with the coach over at Freedom Prep. And we'll talk to John about that at 7:25, and plus other things. Matt Dillon will have the Tiger basketball report, again, moved from Friday to today. We'll have him around 8:25, 8:30 this morning to talk Tiger basketball, as they'll be, again, getting back on the court, hopefully, and it looks like next Monday they'll be resuming activities and have a game scheduled for next Wednesday. At 8:05 today, Keith Wood is going to join me. He is a teacher over at Christian Brothers High School, who has written a book. It is called Memphis Hoops, Race and Basketball in the Bluff City, 1968 to 1997. And this is talking about basically coming out of the assassination of Martin Luther King, the effect of basketball on race relations, and how basketball has kind of been that thing that brings the city together, starting with Larry Finch. And it really deals with Larry Finch from his playing days in high school through going to the University of Memphis, and his pro days to being the coach at the University of Memphis. So we will talk with Keith about that book coming up at 8:05. And then on our final hour today from 9 until 10, it is the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour. Harold Grader will be here for that. So it is a very, very busy Thursday program, our final show of the week. We will have no show tomorrow with Christmas Eve. So this is it. We'll have a 3-day weekend. I know a lot of folks have been off all week, but hopefully you've been enjoying that. And I tell you what, I went out yesterday because I am one of those people. I'm still doing some Christmas shopping. Holy cow. The people are out. I was not the only one out doing some Christmas shopping yesterday. It was nutso. I mean, there are people everywhere. You couldn't find parking spots at stores. It was unbelievable. I was thinking, because I went like middle of the day. Like, okay, I mean, I know there's quite a few people who just take like the whole week off or whatever. But I'm like, okay, like 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday, like it'll be bad, but it's not going to be that bad. I was completely wrong.
Yeah, I would have told you that, Eli.
There was traffic. You couldn't get anywhere. It was just an absolute nightmare. Speaking of traffic, too, by the way, I want to mention this as we get rolling here, and because Zach will have traffic updates. But If you are heading east on I-40 this morning, and I don't know, Zach, you can update this here, but on my way in this morning around, I guess it was about 5:45, there was a semi overturned on I-40 East just before Appling, I believe it was. Is it Appling?
It's right before Germantown Parkway.
Right before, yeah. No, that's right. They were deferring. They were sending traffic off on Appling because they had I-40 was closed. So folks were being sent off of I-40 onto Appling Road. It was between Appling and Germantown Parkway. That's right. So they were sending people off onto Appling because they could not get through. Where do we stand? Has that thing been cleared out of there? Is the roadway open yet?
No, it's still blocked. They are still rerouting traffic.
Okay.
But they have brought in a second tow truck to kind of help out. But
yeah, I don't even know. I don't even know how you get a semi trailer back upright. Like I don't even know what the process is of that. But it was, when I came by it, I was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? Because there were flashing lights everywhere. And then all of a sudden I just see a semi laying on its side in the middle of the road. So if you have to go east on I-40 in that area, you just find a different route. Go around it, go to Germantown Parkway and come up that way and then go east because you are, it's not good. It is not a good situation.
It's going to be a minute. I tell you that. It's definitely going to be a minute.
Well, that's when I came by and I was like, that's not something you clear in like a half hour. Like I don't even get because I don't even know how you get it back upright. I kind of want to see the process. I don't even know what you do, how you get that done, but nonetheless. So there you go. So I-40 East between Appling and Germantown Road, it is closed completely. So you have to get off at Appling there and then get back on. So best if you can to just avoid that entire area. All right. We got a lot of stuff to get into, as I mentioned. Last night, I told you that the Army 6.5, it looked too easy. It just looked too easy. I knew it looked too easy. And Brandon Lang even said, you got SEC talent getting 6.5 against Army. That's tempting. And I was like, yeah, but I mean, Missouri can't stop anybody from running the football. And that's all Army does. Lo and behold, Army does win the Armed Forces Bowl, but they don't win it by 6.5. They win it 24-22 on a field goal on the final play of the game. A 41-yard field goal. Army did really nothing in the first half. Missouri was leading at halftime 16-7, and I was like, oh, man, I really fell for this one. They did get it going in the second half, put together 2 long drives in the second half, and they were able to pull out the win. The funny thing was they won it because on the final, they get the ball back, and they have to go to a hurry-up offense, and they actually throw the football, move downfield, get into field goal range, and able to connect on the field goal despite the fact that the quarterback, who was the third quarterback of the game that they used 3 different quarterbacks because one got hurt. Then the other guy they brought in is not a good thrower, so they brought in a throwing quarterback for the last drive to get him down there into field goal range. He sets him up on the wrong hash mark, but it doesn't matter. Kicker drills it, and Army once again wins the Armed Forces Bowl, but fails to cover the 6.5, and it fails to go over. See, when Brandon, we were talking about the over, and yes, the over had been hitting in all the bowl games. The one thing you hate about betting overs in Army games is they just run the clock constantly. Their drive to start the third quarter took like 9.5 minutes for them to go down and score a touchdown. So there's just so few possessions. If teams aren't scoring a touchdown basically on every possession, I get scared of over. So I didn't want to mess with the over. I did fall for Army. I didn't go big on it, though. I was a little leery of the SEC talent. Missouri had a rough night last night, by the way. Almost simultaneously, you could have watched Missouri's basketball team getting absolutely killed by Illinois, who's one of their arch rivals, the border war, as they like to call it. Did not go well. They lost by 25 to Illinois.
Yeesh.
At the same time. Like they were ending it like the exact same time. So if you're a Missouri fan, you're watching your football team lose a heartbreaking bowl game, taking this loss to Army, while your basketball team is getting just slaughtered by one of your rivals in Illinois. So it was a rough night it was a night of misery for the folks in Missouri.
At least they didn't stay up late to watch the game. So.
But I will say this, for Missouri football, the quarterback, was the freshman quarterback, redshirt freshman quarterback who was making his first career start because they did not go with Connor Bazelak. They went with Brady Cook. He actually looked really good. and he can run. He was doing a lot of good things. Granted, it's one bowl game, all of that stuff. We'll see where it goes from here, but he did look pretty good. And they actually ran the ball. Even without Tyler Beatty, they were able to run the ball. They ended up with nearly 200 yards rushing in the game. So it wasn't like they certainly missed Tyler Beatty, but they didn't miss him that badly because they were still able to run the football. And what the only thing for Brady Cook, you feel bad for him, the quarterback. Missouri scores the touchdown to go up by 1 with, I guess it was about 2 minutes left. I can't remember maybe even less than 2 minutes. So they go for 2 to make it a 3-point lead. And the running back is wide open. Not anybody within 10 yards of him in the end zone. And somehow Cook overthrows him. That would have put them up by 3. That would have made the Army field goal only tie the game. They would have went to overtime. Instead, they're only up by 1. Army goes down, kicks the field goal, and wins the game instead of tying the game. One of the few mistakes Brady Cook made all night was that, and I don't even understand how you could do it. He only had to throw the ball about 10 yards, and he might have missed him by 5 yards because it was nowhere close, and there was nobody near the running back. So the poor freshman, that's the last memory he has of his first career start, is the last pass he threw was missing a wide open guy on a 2-point conversion that could have kept them alive in the game and sent them to overtime. Elsewhere in college football, COVID is rearing its ugly head, as we knew it was going to. Texas A&M out of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl. Ross Bjork, our buddy, former Ole Miss AD, said they were down to only 38 scholarship players between COVID and injuries. So they have pulled out of the TaxSlayer Gator Bowl, and so the Gator Bowl needs a replacement. A lot of reports last night that Rutgers was going to be the replacement because if they go by the APR to the 5 and 7 teams, Rutgers would be first up. However, that is not a done deal. And the Gator Bowl, there was one report, I think from ESPN, that said a Gator Bowl official last night said there had been no contact at this point with Rutgers. The Football Oversight Committee is going to meet today and basically determine the policy here. Is it going to just be we go to the 5 and 7 teams and we go down APR and choose a replacement? Or are we going to basically leave it up to the bowl game and the conference that would be represented? Now, in this case, it would be the Big Ten because the SEC doesn't have another team even possible to replace A&M. So it would go to the Big Ten. Because Illinois, Brett Bielema, soon as Texas A&M withdrew yesterday, Brett Bielema on Twitter was like, hey, we're here. We're ready. Illinois is ready to go. Because they're another 5 and 7 team. Obviously, we got to go to a 5 and 7 team because there's no 6 and 6 teams. Yeah. So Brett Bielema was like, hey, we're here. We're ready. So there is a chance it could be Illinois still. Because apparently with the game being in Jacksonville, Shad Khan, the owner of the Jaguars.
I was getting ready to say that.
Their stadium, he is an Illinois graduate. So there is some thought that he is pushing Illinois for this game. And there is some thought that Illinois might be more appealing to the folks at the Gator Bowl. So they're supposed to determine, basically they got to decide what is going to be the policy here. Because this very well could happen in other bowl games. We still very much may see this in other bowl games where you have to find a replacement if possible. I don't even know how you get a replacement because both Rutgers and Illinois and anybody else, like if you aren't in a bowl game, I would assume your kids have all gone home for the Christmas break. You obviously haven't been practicing at all. Like, you're just going to bring them all. You've been off for, 4 weeks almost? Because obviously these teams didn't play in any conference championship games. So they've been off for basically a month. Most of them have probably been home for a week or two. And now you're just going to bring them back, do like a week's worth of practices, and then go play a game? That seems a little weird, but I guess if you can do it, if you think you can do it and your kids are willing to do it, more power to you. So we'll find out today as far as that is concerned.
Can I do a quick rundown with you real quick?
Yeah.
Because you're saying Illinois is like the front runner right now.
Well, not necessarily.
Right now.
if they go by, it depends what the policy is. If they decide the policy is simply we're going to go by APR to the 5 and 7 teams, then Rutgers is first up.
Okay.
If they decide we're just going to leave it up to the bowl game and kind of the conference to determine who gets that replacement spot, and it isn't just on APR ranking, then the thought is they might like Illinois more because of Shad Khan, and they might just like Illinois a little bit more than Rutgers anyway. Probably thinking maybe they think Illinois will bring more fans or whatever. Although I get it for fans, like really, like all of a sudden you're going to make plans to just head down there. I don't know how many tickets you could possibly sell. I don't know what you could possibly do the game's in a week, basically a week. So I don't know what you're going to be able to do. But what they are meeting today. They're supposed to meet this morning, I guess, to determine what is the policy for these replacement teams and how they will be determined.
Because I'm looking at the 5 and 7 teams that are available. I'm like, man, let's grab Texas and try to.
It's got to be. I think it has to be Big Ten.
It has to be okay. So it's either Rutgers or Illinois.
Basically, I believe, from what I understand, it's got because the SEC does not have anybody to replace. Obviously, A&M's an SEC team that withdrew. The SEC doesn't have anybody to replace them. I believe the other conference then with that bowl game is the Big Ten. So they go to the Big Ten next. So that's where I believe it is going to be either Rutgers or Illinois. But again, they're supposed to determine this. And again, there's a really good chance this is coming up again before the end of the bowl season.
Yeah.
I was worried about Memphis and their bowl game because it was in Hawaii, and I know Hawaii can get, they've been very strict on things. The best thing for Memphis and their bowl game may have been the fact that it's in Hawaii. You get away, you're over there, and it's really early. It's one of the early bowl games. Because we're seeing these early bowl games are all getting played without really too much problem. The longer we go here, as you can look around the world of the NFL and the NBA, the longer we go in these bowl games, the more chance we have of teams having to withdraw. I mean, now you've got Alabama. Now, it's not players right now necessarily that are the issue, but Bill O'Brien, offensive coordinator, Doug Marrone, offensive line coach, both have tested positive. Ole Miss, they do have players. They have some new positive tests among players. They are pushing back the trip down to New Orleans. Their arrival date in New Orleans is being rescheduled. They were supposed to go on the 26th. They're going to wait and go later now as they wait and see how that plays out. So this is going to keep coming up with all of these later bowl games. The College Football Playoff Committee yesterday said they've set their rules. If a team can't play, they will forfeit. If it's a semifinal game and one of the teams can't play, the other team advances to the championship game.
Oh, boy.
If both teams can't play in one of the semifinals and the other semifinal is played, the winner of that game is the national champion. If you do get a national championship game set and one of the teams can't play, the other team is declared national champion. If the national championship game is set and neither team can play, the championship will be vacated for the year. We won't have a national champion for 1 year if both teams in the championship game are unable to play the game due to COVID.
That's not happening.
No,
that's not happening. They're not going to vacate an entire year.
And they did
without
say
a champion.
The championship game can be rescheduled, but no later than January 14th. There is some flexibility with the championship game, but they will not go later than January 14th in determining that. So there is a chance though. Theoretically, we could have a chance where, let's say Alabama, they got the two coaches. All of a sudden, Alabama had this crazy outbreak. Can't play the game. Cincinnati would go to the championship game.
You talk about a perfect opportunity, man. Cincinnati play their cards right.
Cincinnati could win a national championship without having to play a game.
All right.
You could theoretically win a championship without having to play a game. Georgia's JT Daniels. He's out right now with COVID. The thought was, the question was, would Georgia turn to JT Daniels in place of Stetson Bennett? Well, he's out now. So without that preparation, now very well could be back by the time the game rolls around. But without any preparation time, are they going to be willing to go to JT Daniels? Or with limited, being out basically the last week or so before the game, I would find it hard to believe they would start JT Daniels in the game. So it's COVID it's causing all kinds of problems. Christmas Day, the star power of Christmas Day in the NBA is going to be quite different than what we had expected. We'll get into that later on. But coming up next, going to be John Varlas. We'll talk with him about all things the world of sports, the Tigers. We'll get into some high school sports, all of that coming up with John Varlas. This hour of our program is brought to you by Action 24/7. They are the local sports book in the state of Tennessee, and they love to give you free stuff, especially around the holidays. They're giving away free stuff. And tonight is the Titans. They love the local teams here in the state of Tennessee. Titans 49ers tonight, Thursday night football. Bet $100 on the spread of this game. You're going to get a $50 free bet automatically. That's right, $50 free bet if you make a $100 bet on the game tonight, whether that bet wins, loses, does whatever, you're getting a $50 free bet on them. Tomorrow, Christmas Eve, bet $50 on anything. Bet any $50 bet, you're going to get a $25 free bet to use on the same day as well. It's that easy. Like, they give you free stuff. They give you free bets for making bets. And they love it. They absolutely love doing that. And plus, they give you free money up front. All you got to do is make your first deposit. Use promo code WHBQ100, all capitals on the WHBQ. They will match it up to $800. That is Action 24/7. Go to action247.com. Download the app to your phone. Bet local here in Tennessee with Action 24/7. John Varlas up next here on Sports 56 Mornings.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new, latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis, located corner of Park and Cherry, is a beautiful residential neighborhood. I'm here at Town Village Audubon Park interviewing a new resident, Carolyn. Share with us why you chose Town Village.
Well, if your parents or special friends need to make that big move, let me share with you my experience. It was tough for me to leave home, but then I discovered Town Village. I would like to highly recommend Town Village to you and your loved ones. After looking at all the amenities and meeting all the people and staff, I was hooked. From restaurant, bistro, 3 meals per day, housekeeping, transportation, security, health care, physical therapy, exercise room, and even a heated pool and spa. Come see us and make your new home at Town Village.
Visit us and call Daniel at Town Village Audubon Park at 901-374-7342. There's no place like home, Town Village.
Ian Eagle and Tony Baselli here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One with a preview of the season's final Thursday matchup. And it's a good one with the Tennessee Titans hosting the San Francisco 49ers. Tony, what a difference a couple of weeks can make as these two teams have gone in opposite directions.
And while the Titans are 9-5 and still lead the AFC South, they've lost 3 of their last 4, including a game this past Sunday against the Steelers. And offensively, ever since Derrick Henry's gotten hurt, they have been off track, and Ryan Tannehill has not played well. Meanwhile, it's just the opposite with the 49ers. 4 of the last 5 have been victories. They're 8-6, and they're right in the hunt for a wild card spot.
All right, partner, coming up from Nashville, the Titans and the 49ers on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's crunch time now. But don't worry. Just because you waited till the last minute doesn't mean you will miss out on anything. At least not if you come and see us at Russell Brothers. We have a huge inventory of some of the most wonderful jewelry you have ever seen. Whatever you know would please her, whether it's a pair of diamond studs or a magnificent silver or 14-karat gold bangle, maybe it's a beautiful sapphire pendant or a spectacular emerald and diamond ring. We've got anything your lady would want, and when you give her a gift, beautifully wrapped in a Russell Brothers box, you know you've given her the finest quality that's available. Since 1985, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men be the best Santa possible. So, if you want to give her a gift that will last a lifetime, come see us at Russell Brothers, where you can be confident that you've given her the very best. It's getting down to the wire, but don't settle for less than the best. She deserves it. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show. Right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Sports 56 traffic.
As Eli mentioned at the beginning of the show, we were in an accident on I-40 East right before Germantown Parkway. That's I-40 East at right before Germantown Parkway, where overturned 18-wheeler has blocked off the interstate. All lanes are blocked, so you're going to have to use another route to get around that. That's I-40 eastbound before Germantown Parkway. All lanes are currently blocked as they're clearing the accident. Then also on Germantown Parkway, working an accident there on Trinity Road at Germantown Parkway. So just keep in mind as you heading to work in this morning. And this is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 mornings. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
I hope you have fun. The near and the dear one.
This will just get you swaying. There you go, John Marlis.
The old and the young.
Oh, yeah. 48 hours away. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Welcome back. It is Sports 56 Mornings. Eli Savoy here. No Greg Gaston today. Zach Boyd is here. And look who's come in. He's not wearing a Santa hat either. He's not dressed in any Christmas attire. But John, I could feel the Christmas spirit oozing from John Varlas.
I don't have any Christmas attire, but I am excited for Christmas. Ho ho ho, everybody.
That's good. I'm glad you're excited for Christmas.
I am. I'm really looking forward to it. I love Christmas, and I appreciate. You guys can't see, but yeah, Eli's in here. He's got his Santa hat. He's He's wearing his red. He looks good. He's in the spirit. So yeah, I'm excited too. I'm still like a big kid at Christmas for sure.
And we were talking. You got your steak meal plan, which is your standard holiday fare. Which I'm actually going steak. At Christmas, I do like to do steak. Went and bought me a big old tomahawk ribeye yesterday. I'm ready to go with that thing.
I think that sounds like a really good plan. Yeah, I heard you talking about how crowded the stores were, and my wife had to go do a couple of things yesterday, and she said the same thing. But yeah, I'm just going to brave the crowds, go in there and just dive right in and do what I need to do. If I need to elbow some people out of the way, or
you will need that.
Take some strategic routes to the aisles I need to be on. Whatever I need to do, I will get it done.
So, I want to talk to you first of all. You had reported earlier in the week a video that you had seen, and the story is out there more. The situation at Freedom Prep with the basketball coach over there. And some abuse, I guess, of his son during a basketball game. Tell us about this story.
Yeah, it all unfolded Monday at the Brighton tournament. Brighton's hosting a holiday tournament on Monday. They had some good games out there, some good competition, and Freedom Prep was playing. Who were they playing? They were playing Fayette Ware, and at some point in the game. The coach for Freedom Prep, Brawani Johnson is the coach's name. His son Bakari is not only his son, but he's the best player on the team. He's the star player, and he's actually one of the better seniors in Memphis. He's one of the top 10 scorers in our city. Really good player, 6'5" kid. Has some ability. It definitely has a chance to play somewhere, on the next level. So at some point he pulls his son out of the game, and it's unclear. I don't know if the son said something or refused to go back into the game when he was told to or something like that. But either way, there was a little bit of tension there, and I mean basically what it was is the coach just lost it, and it's captured on video. And he just starts pounding punches raining down on his son. His son was like seated on a bleacher, kind of behind the bench, and then the father just went around behind him and just kind of started punching on him, wailing on him. At one point he kind of picked him up around the collar, shoulders, neck area, and kind of pushed him back towards the locker room area, and kind of manhandled him off the court. And then you can see in the video him again punching the son further at that point. They called the Brighton Police Department out there. Coach Johnson was arrested, charged with assault, and that's that's where we are with that now. I've spoken to and reported this in the Daily Memphian, through the folks at Freedom Prep. I mean, they said they're going to cooperate with any external investigations that the Brighton Police Department provided them, and they're going to do their own internal investigation as well, and I assume that will determine Coach Johnson's future. But yeah, I mean, just ugly, and I'm not gonna encourage you to go seek out the video, because at the end of the day, it's a video of a father, abusing his son, and it's uncomfortable, and it's just not something you ever expect to imagine at a high school basketball game or anywhere. Anyway,
that's an alarming thing to see at any point. Like it's just like I can't.
I mean, it's shocking, frankly. And you watch the video, and among the many shocking things is the video is nobody did anything to the referees.
So was the game going on? Like is the game still being played as this is happening?
No, this was like in a break.
Okay, was there
like a timeout or whatever? Yeah, no, But yeah, I mean, that's the shocking part. The referees didn't really do anything. I have to think they were just kind of taken aback by the whole thing. I mean, it was just like a wildfire. It just kind of flared up, and you just like, well, what the heck is going on?
Why wouldn't there be some security people on site that could have somebody step in and say like, whoa, dude, stop?
Yeah, I mean, I got a secondhand report from a friend of a friend who was at the game. Ultimately, there were some coaches and some officials from other teams and things like that broke it up and kind of got things restored and settled down. But yeah, it's just bad. It's shocking, and I don't see how you could keep your job after something like that. Honestly, I mean, it's there's no excuse for it. There's no place for it, and it's a it's a situation that obviously goes deeper than just basketball,
Yeah.
you know, when you have that kind of thing. And, you know, I guess that's really all I can say about it, but it's just sad and unfortunate. And, you know, if you're the type of person to pray and send good thoughts and things, you know, please pray for the welfare of that young man and that entire family, because, you know, obviously there's issues there.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. That is, boy, that's awful stuff to hear. When I first saw that story, I was like, what? That's shocking to me. And I was like, I don't want to see the video. That was it would just make me more angry and everything else about it. But that's just crazy to think that somebody would do that. And was it like a fan that taped it, or was it like the tape of the game?
No, it was like a fan taped it. You know, it's like from the perspective opposite the court. So they're on one side of the court, and it's like your face.
So somebody saw this going on and was like, I'm going to get this on tape to make sure, like, there's evidence of this, of what he's actually doing.
Yeah, and the whoever recorded it, the fan posted it to Snapchat. You know, so it's out there. But yeah, it was like from the perspective of like, okay, they're on one side of the court and the fans are on the opposite side of the court, so it's across the court kind of thing. So
we of course we love talking high school sports with you, but we talk a little bit of everything. I want to get your thoughts on what's your take on what went down Saturday, or what ended up not going down Saturday with the Tigers and Tennessee and that whole Tiger situation?
Geez, what a mess, right? I mean, kind of like this video. I mean, there's nothing you can really good say about it. Honestly, I mean, it's just so unfortunate. I mean, I certainly, you know, I know there was a lot of stuff back and forth with the fan bases on social media. I certainly don't think Memphis is afraid to play U2. I mean, that whole thing is just foolish. I'll say this, Eli, and I've kind of seen this develop a little bit over the course of the high school season. I do think, you know, as serious as coronavirus is and as serious as, you know, everybody takes it, I do think in some instances it's become kind of like an easy fallback to where, you know, in sports you make the effort to do things, but, you know, with coronavirus, I think in some senses it makes it a little easier to not do things. You know what I'm trying to say? So you in instances where without it, you might want to push forward and say, well, you know, let's just work a little harder to get this game in. Let's work a little harder to get this tournament in, you know, for the sake of the kids, for the sake of the fans, for whatever. You know, I think there's an element of that to it in play. But, you know, bigger picture, I mean, what can you say? I mean, you know, Coach Hardaway said 90% of his team was vaccinated. That turned out to be not true. And that's just not a good look. You know, I'm not going to point fingers or blame at anybody. And I'm, you know, certainly not going to tell people what they need to do with their own bodies. That's not my place. But, you know.
And that's it's funny because there's a lot of, my thing on Monday, I was very critical of Penny Hardaway, and there's a lot of these people out there like, oh, everybody's just blaming Penny for everything. I'm not going to blame Penny for the kids not necessarily being vaccinated. But my problem with Penny is where I said it's irresponsible as a head coach to not know and to just throw out a number.
Yeah.
Like to just say 90% and then come back and say, yeah, I heard kids talking about being vaccinated and I never revisited it again.
Yeah.
Like as a head coach in today's world, you have to know that number because it can cause a game to be canceled like that, because unvaccinated guys are not allowed to play once somebody tests positive. Vaccinated, if they were all vaccinated, they could have played the game. Now we've gotten the report that Imani Bates probably wasn't going to play because of an injury, and so that contributed to the lack of numbers. So we still don't know how many guys were contact traced out of the game. All we know is there were 4 guys available to play. How many of those were injuries, whatever. But to me, you cannot take a guy and go say, here, we're going to stick this needle in your arm. There's nothing you can do about that. Like you can I do believe you can keep giving them information. You can encourage it on the idea of, listen, you guys have to understand what this can do to our season if you guys aren't vaccinated. But to just say, I just never revisit it again. Like that to me, from a head coaching perspective, that's irresponsible to not even have a clue what was going on amongst your team.
Right. And you're, you know, the coach, not just Coach Hardaway, but any coach nowadays is the CEO of the program. You're responsible for everything. I mean, and that's what you get when you sign up for it.
Exactly.
That's what you.
That's
get
why
when
you're paying you millions.
That's why you're exactly. It's like that. That's why you're paying you millions of billions of dollars. Nick Saban. I mean, any Tom Izzo, any coach you Coach K, any coach you name, I would venture to say they know the exact status of what's going on with their teams, right down to the letter. I mean, I'm sure Nick Saban knows what his long snapper is
no
doing
question
at any given moment. Because it's that important. Because there's just so many things that can go wrong with the team. Guys get in trouble. Guys, they get injured. They go home and who knows what happens. It's just so much that can go wrong when you're dealing with a team and young men and this is a situation in that. Yeah, I agree with you. Like you give information. Again, I'm not going to advocate for anybody to do. I mean, everybody makes their own choice. These are young adults, but they're adults, and they can certainly make their own choices about what to do with their own bodies. They're athletes. They're the fittest guys in town. They're among the fittest guys in the country. So, they decide for themselves. But yeah, you're right. You lay it out for them. You spell it out for them as best as you can, and that's all you can do. But to put a number on it without actually knowing, I think that's where most people kind of had an issue, and I certainly don't disagree with that. I mean, I think that's valid.
Has it been we see this now? I mean, we've got all these college basketball games, we've got NBA games, we've got NFL games being postponed, we've got a bowl game now, a team Texas A&M out of a bowl game. Has it been affecting high school basketball here at all? Have we had games being canceled or postponed at all because of COVID?
A little bit here and there. The problem with high school is, you talk about minors, so a lot of that stuff's not going to get out. But yeah, I mean, we've seen it here and there, and I think we will continue to see it here and there. The good thing with this new variant that's come out that everything I read says it peaks quickly, but it also goes down very quickly. So that's one good thing. And then obviously all research seems to indicate that it's not as severe as previous.
But it's more contagious, but not as severe once you get it.
Yeah, and without getting into the science of it too much, that's a good thing from what I've read, because it shows that the whole thing is weakening, and maybe God willing we'll be out of this. We'll be able to not have to focus on this for too much longer. I mean, that's my hope and my prayer. But yeah, I mean, we've seen a little bit on the high school level. I think we will continue to, but I mean, I think largely people are doing the best they can, following the rules to the best of their abilities, and trying to make it work for these kids.
Is there any testing in place in high school, or is it just if you have symptoms you go get tested? Is there anything for high school basketball, any sort of regular testing at all, or is it just if you get sick you get tested?
No, I don't think it's a regular kind of testing thing like the University of Memphis or other college teams. No, it's not like that on the high school level where you go into practice every day and get tested. I think it's more of a symptom-based thing, and honestly, I think that's, I would get on my soapbox here, but I would like to see, the NCAA kind of adopt the NFL policy.
Eventually they're going to have to.
I really don't see what is gained by continuously testing people that don't show symptoms, and in particular vaccinated people.
Well, and the NCAA, the vaccinated guys do not. That's another thing. That's one of the reasons. You don't have to go through the testing. The vaccinated guys don't get tested unless they have symptoms.
Yeah, that's where I am. I just think the whole testing of people that don't have symptoms is silly, and I think that it's just a recipe for more problems, because we've seen throughout this whole thing there's issues with test sensitivity, there's issues with false positives, and all this stuff is valid, all this stuff has happened. My God, Kevin Durant's tested positive for coronavirus, 30 times, right?
And that's why I get where Adam Silver says we're not pausing the season, because at this point, what good is it going to do us? You just have to kind of. He said we just have to learn to deal with it. It's been we're approaching 2 years, which is insane that this has been 2 years. Sometimes, some ways it feels like it's been 10 years. Other times it feels like really it's been 2 years that this thing's been around, affecting us. And obviously we deal with sports, and so it's affecting sports, and that's what we love. But it's man, oh man, when it first happened, I remember that March when everything shut down. People were like, man, you got to be prepared. This could last a year. And I was like, oh my gosh, a year. Here we are almost 2 years in, and we're still having games being canceled.
Well, and you're right, Eli. It's an endemic virus now. It's in the population. It's
never going to disappear.
It's never going to disappear. There's people that think that, but it's just not going to happen. That's people say trust. Well, that's science. Trust the science. That's science. It's not going anywhere. But eventually, it's going to be. And I know people hate this comparison because it's going to make me sound like whatever. But you just have to deal with it like it's the flu at some point. If you're sick, stay home. It's very simple. It's what we've done. It's what we did for
forever.
For forever prior to March of 2020. If you're not sick, stay home. If you're gonna cough, cover your mouth. Don't breathe on people. This is common sense stuff that really worked really well for all these decades. So I just hopefully we can get back to that and have a little common sense returning to everything.
Yeah, I just wonder when. To me, I think the professional sports leagues is probably they'll all go through this. I'll be interested to see what baseball does for this year because they're kind of the next one to start up. Will they still be testing regularly, or are they going to kind of adopt that policy of like, listen, if you're sick, stay home. If not, we're going to go on with our day, and people might be playing with it, not showing any symptoms. We're just going to live with that.
Well, and another thing, and you mentioned baseball. We had a great baseball season that was, very little issue. We had, and that's where I'm a little confused about what's going on now. We had a terrific college football season. Games played all over the country. Teams, no issues, no games canceled. Now we get to bowl season and we're canceling stuff, and that goes back to what I was saying earlier about not using this as an excuse, but maybe a little bit less likely to do things if you've got that as a fallback.
He is John Varlas from the Daily Memphian. You can follow him on Twitter at John Varlas. John, Merry Christmas to you. Enjoy that steak. Enjoy your holiday. We'll talk to you again next week.
Merry Christmas to you, Eli. Where's our buddy Greg? Is he in Hawaii?
Well, he's supposed to be in Hawaii, but I don't believe he's in Hawaii.
Okay, that's unfortunate. That's unfortunate. All right,
so
I'm
not sure exactly where he is right now. As a matter of fact,
all right. Sorry if I opened a can of worms, but I didn't mean to do that. But yeah.
I'll just leave it at that. I'm not sure where he is right now.
Okay. Well, Merry Christmas to you. Merry Christmas, Zach. Merry Christmas, all the Sports 56 listeners. I've enjoyed being with you guys, and I'm looking forward to continuing through it next year and beyond.
We'll wrap up 2021 with you next week.
Thank you, guys.
That's John Varlas. We'll continue more Sports 56 mornings right after this here on Sports 56 at 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the season of performance and the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging from the stunning interior, complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today. Ridgeway at 385 or shop online from the convenience of your home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Man, how can you afford gas for that big SUV?
I pay less for gas than everyone else. I got the free Get Upside Gas app and get up to 25 cents a gallon cash back every time I buy gas.
Hold on. You're getting up to 25 cents off a gallon with the free Get Upside Gas app while I'm paying full price?
You know it. People earned over $1 million last year. You just got to take a picture of your gas receipt and bam, up to 25 cents a gallon cash back.
You don't have to tell me twice. I'm downloading the free Get Upside Gas app now.
Download the free Get Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play to save up to 25 cents a gallon when you buy gas. Use promo code HOT for a 25 cent a gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents a gallon on your next tank. Just download the free Get Upside app at the App Store or Google Play and use promo code HOT. Save money on gas on every fill-up. Just download the free Get Upside app and use promo code HOT. That's HOT. Visit GetUpside.com for terms.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian
Brian Elder, 867-0303. Hurricane season is upon us. Is your roof ready? Are your shingles laying down and sealed properly? Call me right now, 867-0303. They say you get what you pay for. That's why my opinion is free. Maybe you've got years of life left in your roof. If so, I'll tell you that. But if I find storm damage or a compromised roof system, I'll lay out some options for you. Don't let them tell you it needs to be replaced if it only needs a repair. Call me, 867-0303. Has your insurance company already seen it and rejected your claim? Maybe they're correct. Most of the time, they're not. They do tend to become more reasonable once I get involved, though. 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
Nothing says Happy New Year like getting the SUV, car, or truck you want to drive into 2022. Everything you want is here at the new Auto Universe Germantown. Have you heard about this? Nothing but the best. The finest vehicles you'll see in one place anywhere. Make it to the lot and showroom on Winchester just off 385. Auto Universe is a lot full of luxury automobiles like Lexus, Infiniti, Audi, Jeep, Mercedes, Nissan, Honda, Chevy, Toyota. And get this, no haggle pricing. If you're looking for a slightly driven, previously loved pre-owned vehicle, you got to see these at Auto Universe Germantown, and they tell me they're adding more by the hour. Or go to eautouniverse.com. Happy New Year from their family to yours. The only dealership you'll ever need. Unbelievable selection, simplified financing, top service technicians, even collision repair. Everything you want in one place. It's at 7300 Winchester, just off 385. Only the best make it here to Auto Universe Germantown. That's eautouniverse.com.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Action247.com. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Baby boy has come to make you new. This child that you delivered.
Welcome back. It is Sports 56 Mornings. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd here today. No Greg Gaston. Thank you to John Varlas. Coming up to kick off hour number 2, Keith Wood will be here. Talk about his book, Memphis Hoops, Race and Basketball in the Bluff City, 1968 to 1997. Great little stocking stuffer. I'll tell you that for the holiday season. You can get certainly that, and we'll talk about that coming up here to kick off hour number 2 of the program. We still got a lot of stuff to get into. Grizzlies back in action tonight. We'll get into that. We've got college basketball from last night. Big win for Tennessee last night as they get the win over Arizona. Also, another rough night in some ways for the University of Memphis basketball team last night. Every team that's been on their schedule that has either beaten them or is their quality win, they keep losing games. So they keep losing they do not get any help from anybody, it seems like, on a nightly basis now. Of course, we still have Matt Dillon of the Tiger Basketball Report. We'll get into the Tiger Basketball hot and heavy in hour number 2 as well. And then our final hour today, final hour of the week, will be the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader. Well, I mentioned with the weather we've got today, low 60s, tomorrow, low 70s, Christmas Day, mid 70s, lots of sunshine. Folks, you can get out there and play some golf in this weather. Actually, I'm going to play some golf tomorrow. Christmas Eve, I'm going to be out there playing golf in 70-degree weather. I love that time of year, and when you can get out there and play golf like that, that is great. And if you're playing golf, you know where to go get the supplies. That is Edwin Watts. They are the golf store here in town, and they have everything you could imagine from the world of golf. If you've got a golfer on your holiday shopping list and you still haven't gotten anything, just go grab a gift card. Make it quite simple on yourself. You may not know what they need, but I guarantee you they need something from Edwin Watts. So get them a gift card. They can go over there. Maybe they need apparel. Maybe they need some balls. Maybe they need gloves. Maybe they just want to put it towards a new club or new clubs, a new set of clubs. Whatever it is from the world of golf, Edwin Watts has it. They are the place to go. They're in the Ridgeway Trace Shopping Center. It's between Ridgeway and 240 there in Poplar. You got the shopping center. It's got Target on one end, Best Buy on the other. You got right in the middle is Edwin Watts, right next door to the PetSmart location. So that's a holiday shopping mega metropolis right there with Target and Best Buy. You can get Edwin Watts while you're there as well. Everything from the world of golf, they've got it for you. Go see the folks at Edwin Watts. Hour number 2 coming up. We'll kick it off. Talking a little bit about Memphis basketball, a little history of Memphis basketball and the city of Memphis as well. Again, then we'll talk some more Memphis basketball with the Tiger Basketball Report with Matt Dillon. That comes your way here in hour number 2. Sports 56 mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
They've raised the bar again at Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch. I like to say this is the new standard, the way car business should be done. And to prove it, out of 355 dealers in America that sell Genesis cars, the one in Olive Branch, Genesis of Olive Branch, was top 50 in the country, top 10 in the region, and number 2 in the district. And guess what? They want to be number 1. That means there are opportunities out there for you. It's the safest, and every new, latest bit of technology that makes the experience of driving a car better, they've got it at Genesis of Olive Branch. If we start with the G70, the highest performing car I've ever owned, all the way to the G80 or the G90, the biggest of the sedans, you'll love everything about the car. If you would like to try the new SUV, the GV80, you call Vinny Gerard at 662-890-6684. He will bring it out to you.
So if you're like me and still have some last-minute shopping to do, you need to check out Kohl's. I got my husband the green Fitbit Versa 3 for $169.99, found some great toys for 50% off, and got silver jewelry my mom is gonna love for just $17.59. I even saved an extra 20% and got Kohl's cash. So I guess you could say I got everything just in the nick of time. Get it? Select styles. Ends December 24th. Price valid on green Fitbit Versa 3 only. Toys and Fitbit. Coupons do not apply. Some exclusions apply. See store or Kohl's.com for details.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One with a Thursday night football preview and a game with big playoff ramifications. The 49ers at the Titans. In the AFC race, Tennessee has fallen back with losses in 3 of their last 4 games, but at 9-5, they're still just a game back in the top seed hunt. Quarterback Ryan Tannehill said after Sunday's loss to the Steelers that their offense needs to refocus.
Anytime you walk away with a loss, it's a sick feeling, and it has to get cleaned up. Obviously, had opportunities converting, but when you turn the ball over, you put yourself in a bad situation.
Jimmy Garoppolo and San Francisco have entered the NFC playoff picture by winning back-to-back games. At 8-6, another win would solidify them as a postseason favorite. Ian Eagle and Tony Baselli will have all the action on Thursday Night Football.
Remember to listen to Westwood One's coverage of the NFL all season long, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey, frequent heartburn may keep you from running your A game, but it doesn't have to anymore. Join the Prilosec OTC 2-week challenge. Just go to prilosecotc.com. You'll get $3 off to get you started, plus 14 days of tips, tricks, and reminders. Just 2 weeks, 0 heartburn. Go to prilosecotc.com and sign up today. 0 heartburn is possible with Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
Find everything you need at Lowe's Winterfest, where even last-minute gifts feel far from last minute. Like Blackstone griddles, everyday low price starting at $149. Or save $30 on a Google Nest Smart Thermostat. Was $129.99, now $99.99. Check off your gift list and make more holiday at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. While supplies last, valid through 12/24, U.S. only.
If you need glass replaced, there's only one name you need to know: Binswanger Glass, the largest full-service glass company in the U.S. They've been an industry leader for over 145 years. For all your residential, commercial, or auto glass needs, Binswanger Glass is the name you need to know. 24-hour emergency service for all commercial customers, plus a nationwide warranty on all professionally installed glass. Visit Binswanger Glass in Midtown at 340 South Hollywood, across from the Liberty Bowl. Visit binswingerglass.com. Binswanger Glass.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
As we said at the beginning of the show, we're still working an accident on I-40 East, That's I-40 East before Germantown Parkway. All the lanes are blocked at this moment as they're clearing the accident from the roadways. Also, we're working an accident on Trinity Road at Germantown Parkway. New accidents on Shelby Drive at Mill Branch Road. And then also working an accident on Prescott near Cherokee Boulevard. That's just west of I-240. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone.
James Gaddis Jewelers is the second hour sponsor of Sports 56 Middays, located at 4900 Poplar Avenue between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. On the web at GaddisJewelers.com. You can call them at 901-767-9648. They are your bridal, engagement, and anniversary jeweler headquarters. They've been serving Memphians and Mid-Southerners in that same East Memphis location for nearly a quarter of a century. James is a master jeweler, certified appraiser, diamondologist, and he's graded by the Gemologist Institute of America. And they have something for everybody, whether it's diamonds or jewels, gold or silver. They got tons of watches, custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets and necklaces. So many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing is available. James Gaddis is locally owned, family owned and operated. Whatever your dream, make it come true at James Gaddis Jewelers, 4900 Poplar, between Mendenhall and St. Elmo. On the web at GaddisJewelers.com.
Welcome back. This hour of the program is indeed brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. We come to you live from the Family Leisure Studios, where family and fun come together. That is Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road. Eli Savoy back here with Zach Boyd producing the program. No Greg Gaston will be back on the program next week. Again, another nice day on tap. We've got nice days on tap here for the next few, all the way through Christmas Day, with highs on Christmas Day up near 75 degrees today. Should be in the low 60s under a lot of sunshine. Good to have you with us here in our number 2. We're going to talk a lot about Memphis basketball, a couple of different angles of Memphis basketball coming up here in our number 2. If you're watching us live, which you can do on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Sport56WHBQ.com, you can see that I'm joined by another guest here in studio. He is Keith Wood, or I should say Dr. Keith Wood.
Thank you, sir.
From Christian Brothers High School. You can follow him on Twitter at CoachWood90, at CoachWood90. He has written a book called Memphis Hoops, Race and Basketball in the Bluff City, 1968 to 1997. He's holding it up right there.
Shameless plug right there, Eli.
That's perfect.
Plug for the book. You know.
Perfect. That's how you got to do it right there.
Right.
First of all, welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming by. And let's talk, first of all, what made you decide to write this book?
Well, my first 17 years here in Memphis, I moved here in 1994, and I coached high school basketball in the inner city at Sheffield High School, and then in the county at Millington, before moving over to Christian Brothers about 10 years ago. And so when I began my PhD work, I was looking around for something, and my directing professor, Aram Gutsuzian, over at the University of Memphis, had done an article called One City, which chronicled the 1973 season. And he said, you've got connections in the city that I could talk to them and interview them, but I'm going to be an academic. You, on the other hand, are still Coach Wood. And in fact, even to today, when I teach at Christian Brothers High School, I still go by Coach Wood. A few of the kids will call me Doctor, but most of them call me Coach Wood because...
Can we call you Dr. Coach Wood?
Well, yeah, but my son, my oldest son, has like 27 names. Who knows what that joker calls me from day to day. But, it's all good. And really... I just began those conversations. At one point in time, we had Keith Lee and Larry Finch's grandsons at Christian Brothers High School. So I was able to open up some doors, got to know Larry Finch Jr. really well. Miss Vicky Finch, Vicky Stevens Finch, she's in the book, and just developed some relationships. And I got some inside stories, going back to my days at Sheffield and Millington. Verdi Sales over at what was Shelby State, now Southwest. He recruited a number of my guys, and so he actually had spoken at the Millington High School basketball camp a number of times for me because he's a Woodstock guy. And so, just sitting down with him, Coach Sales is the godfather of Memphis basketball. And if you follow the coaching tree, Penny goes back to Coach Finch, Larry Finch. Larry goes back to Verdi Sales, William Collins at Melrose. If you take Coach Sales, goes back to Jerry Johnson at Lemoyne Owen. And what's really interesting is understanding the history that Penny sits under. And I think that's hopefully this book, if folks pick it up, will get an understanding of the real history and a deeper understanding, not the real history. I think one of my favorite parts of writing this book was that each time I talk to somebody, even you, Eli, when we talk, there's going to be a connection with Memphis basketball. And something in the book is going to resonate. And, it's going to have a meaningful connection because Memphis, although it's a city of around 1 million somewhere, it's a small town. And that's one of the things that made writing this book a passion. It's what I love to do. I love basketball. I love history. And so this gave me an opportunity for the two to connect. And so it was a good time.
It's interesting because, I moved to Memphis 2003, got here, learned quickly what Memphis basketball, the University of Memphis basketball means to the city out down, and after I get here, Cal, that's those next 5 years are amazing years, all this stuff. And you hear the stories about Larry Finch and kind of what it meant for him to go to the University of Memphis at that time. And obviously you learn all about the assassination of Martin Luther King Jr., the Civil Rights Museum and all that stuff. But there was still a lot of stuff like you hear about it, but I didn't quite know the whole story. And your book, right off the bat, kind of gets in it, going back to the MIAA championship with Larry Finch versus Johnny Newman and Mid-South Coliseum packed and what even that meant, to kind of start that process and you get the idea of just what Larry Finch was and what he meant to unifying this city.
Well, when you think about it, when Larry Finch starts high school, right? So he graduates in '69 from Melrose. When he's a freshman in high school, there's the Negro Leagues and there's Shelby Prep Leagues. The white kids and the black kids didn't play each other. Everything was segregated. Jim Crow was in full swing here in Memphis. And so when the MIAA sits down, in 1965 is the first interracial football game between Father Bertrand and Catholic over at Crump Stadium. So you're talking 65. That's only 4 years before. Finch is in 8th grade. Is the first time that two football teams played each other on a Friday night. The following year, Christian Brothers and Melrose play. And so, there's a lot of history that's being broken. And you're in the middle of the civil rights movement. A lot of people forget that. And I think one of the things that happens is as we look back at, we remember the 73 run to the NCAA championship game. We forget that Larry Finch, his own coach, William Collins at Melrose, told him not to go to Memphis. Previously, another Melrose player, Bingo Smith, who was the all-time leading scorer in the state, but played varsity at Melrose from the 8th grade. Think about that. This young man played varsity at Melrose, a powerhouse in 8th grade. And he had an offer from Ehlers to go to Memphis, and Ehlers pulled the scholarship in August as he was about to walk onto campus, and Collins was scorned, and Orange Mound was scorned. And they were like, well, if you don't want one of our kids, you're not getting this one either. And many people in the city will say that Bingo Smith may have been one of the best players ever to come out of the city. And so he ends up going to Tulsa. And in fact, Collins was pushing Finch to Tulsa. That's where he wanted him to go. But it's ironic that the Godfather, Verdi Sales, who was an assistant for Collins at Melrose, sat Finch down and said, Larry, what do you want to do? And Coach Sales told this. He does the story way better than I do. But he told the story, and he said, "Look, he said, Larry, whatever you want to do, I'm going to sit behind you." Collins did not attend Finch's signing. He boycotted. Half of Melrose boycotted Finch's signing with Memphis State. And so what's interesting is a couple of weeks ago, I went to the unveiling of the statue over at the Walton Laurie facility. And, everybody was there, and Orange Mound was there, and huge. Half the crowd was tiger blue and gray, and the other half was maroon and yellow, and so maroon gold. And so the Golden Wildcats. But, it was really interesting to follow that story that he went against that. His mother, Maple, raised him, single mom. His dad had passed away when he was a young kid. And he wanted to play in front of his mom. And so, and I think it's important people know this, because if you ask the kids that I teach right now that are high school kids who Larry Finch is, they don't know. Yeah. They know who Penny Hardaway is. And, to understand that Larry wholeheartedly understood what Penny was going through as the most sought-after player in the city, and he convinced Penny to stay. If you remember at that point in time, when Penny decides to stay, Arkansas had been doing a good job. Nolan Richardson had been doing a good job getting Memphis talent, and Finch's job was in a precarious position. So when he signs Penny and Penny decides to stay, that's a huge get and a recruiting sign for Finch at that time as a coach. But all those things, that whole story is connecting those dots and understanding the similarities. What did Finch mean to the community? What does Penny mean to Memphis basketball right now? And I think there's a lot of parallels as you watch the way the community, Memphis treats Penny on a game-to-game basis. The hometown hero is the hometown hero when he's winning. When he's losing, venues like this, sports radio gets on him.
And that's the thing too, and that's when when Penny got the job. That was the whole thing. Was like, man, it's when you're a player, it's one thing. When you are a coach, it's a different thing, and it can. Most coaching tenures don't end well. I mean, coaches are hired to be fired. Like that's kind of the way coaching goes. You end up getting fired, and that's the whole thing. And everybody knew what happened with Larry Finch, and so it was like, can we go through that with Penny Hardaway too, another local hero? It kind of makes people uneasy, that thought of like, at some point there may come a time where Penny Hardaway gets fired, because that's what happens to 99% of coaches.
Well, and I think I addressed that in the epilogue. I spend, when it went from my dissertation into the book being published, the publisher asked me to look into Penny, to look at him. And I think Penny's a little more savvy. He had a longer playing career in the NBA. Finch only plays 2 years in the ABA here in Memphis. A rather short career, just doesn't work out as well as maybe it should have. But it was a different time in the 70s with the NBA and the ABA, and there was a lot of different things going on. But I think Penny's experience, I think the fact that he's got Larry Brown on staff, Rasheed Wallace on staff. Not many people know that Larry Brown actually applied for the Memphis job in '79. When Dana Kirk got hired, the three candidates were Verdi Sales, who had been the first black assistant at Memphis under Wayne Yates. And it was Verdi Sales, Dana Kirk, and Larry Brown were the three finalists. Sales got the obligatory, we're going to give you the interview, but we're not ready for a head black coach just yet. And Larry Brown and Dana Kirk were the two finalists. And it was made pretty clear by the AD, Spook Murphy, that you will bring home Larry Finch, who at this point in time, by '79, is an assistant under Gene Bartow down at UAB, who he played for here in the '73 run. And Murphy made it pretty clear, you're going to bring Larry Finch on. And Larry Brown was, and is a North Carolina guy. It's like, no, I'm not bringing this Finch guy on. I don't have any part of that, which was interesting because when I go to the unveiling, Penny's, front and center. Larry Brown's sitting over there on the side. And there's this side story that I don't think a lot of people know. And really what allowed Memphis to land Dana Kirk was the fact that Dana said, okay, yeah, I'll tell you, who's this Larry Finch guy? I'll take him. And now he had been at Louisville with Denny Crum. And so he had the Louisville, and then Denny Crum is connected to John Wooden and UCLA. So there was a great connection as far as that. And I think, you mentioned you got here when Calipari. I think the reason why Calipari took the Memphis job is because Larry Brown had said, look, that's a great job. Maybe I should have taken that in 79. It's got a great basketball community. Here's a job, John, that you could do with your NBA experience, and you can win there. That community loves basketball, and they're going to love you. And so there's another connection between Brown and Calipari in the Memphis coaching connection that's historical if you understand the broader picture.
Another thing in the book, obviously Larry Finch is the central subject of this and a lot about him and the Memphis Tigers, but you talk about Lemoyne Owen and a national championship they won that I think most people probably don't know about, because most people don't know much about Lemoyne Owen until now. Bonzi Wells is the head coach, and we hear about that. But I mean, you kind of addressed Lemoyne Owen and kind of their place in the history too.
Right. I think Lemoyne Owen gets lost in the shuffle. You've got what is the role of the historically black college and university? The Lemoyne Owen has been here since 1866. So, this school goes back to predates, the Reconstruction, right? So it's had a prominent role in South Memphis. And a lot of the teachers that I worked with when I worked in inner city Memphis were graduates of Lemoyne Owen and incredibly proud. So I got an understanding. I remember being on bus rides with coaches and talking about Lemoyne Owen and talking about Clint Jackson and Robert Newman and not knowing, right? Like, because I'm a kid from upstate New York. I'm a huge Syracuse guy, right? So I'm getting down here. And as I developed relationships, coached with Newman, Robert Newman over at, he was at Hamilton and Melrose. We did summer camps together. Clint Jackson was actually the head coach at Sheffield, 2 guys in front of me. So we would sit down and talk. And once you get to understand that Jerry Johnson, learned his basketball from John McClendon up at Tennessee State, who learned his basketball from James Naismith. So if you actually take that tree and you project it forward, James Naismith, John McClendon, Jerry Johnson, Verdi Sales, Larry Finch, Penny Hardaway. Penny Hardaway's tree goes all the way back to James Naismith, where basketball began.
Man, that's crazy.
And so if you skip the Lemoyne Owen part, then you're really missing an important piece. One of the most incredible experiences I had when I was writing this book, that right after I was done, and it was off with the publisher, Jerry Johnson celebrated his 100th birthday over at the University of Memphis at the Holiday Inn Center, and Lemoyne Owen was out in full force. A lot of the guys from the 75 national championship team were there, and unfortunately, there were very few people that looked like me. It was mostly Lemoyne Owen, the historically black community, the alumni, but I tell you who was there, Penny Hardaway. And he paid his respects to Jerry Johnson. Verdi Sales was there. And so for me, Penny understands it. He gets it. He knows it. He embraces it. And I think that's important. And I think it was important to tell that story as an integral part of Memphis basketball. Memphis Hoops is more than just the Tigers basketball program. It has Lemoyne Owen. And, at that time, 75, when they win the national championship, the NAIA and the NCAA are in a war for teams. And if you remember correctly, Tennessee State had won a number of NAIA. Their national championship now is challenging the NCAA for supremacy. And the NCAA needs to get more of these HBCUs into the NCAA. So what they did is they opened up a Division III tournament to get smaller NAIA schools. Lemoyne Owen had been offering scholarships. So when they played in the Division III, unlike today, Division III is non-scholarship, right? So in 1975, when they played, all those guys were on scholarship. And so they make their run, and they're all scholarship guys, and they win the first tournament. In fact, they're the only HBCU at the tournament. And, there's a number of things you can watch as that goes through. We don't have time to cover them all today, but it's just a great story. And really, they get the keys to the city, but not like, when Finch and those guys were headed to the Final Four, 5,000 people at their airport to meet them. And to be honest, the Lemoyne Owen guys don't remember, they remember they got a couple of interviews or a couple of articles in the newspaper. They didn't get their national championship rings until about 4 years ago. Wow. So, yeah. And so, that, and it speaks to money, and you talk about the socioeconomics, the difference on the belt line between what's over in South Memphis and what's over here. And that's where the Mid-South Coliseum sits, which makes Larry Finch's story so important, because you got the Coliseum, the belt line, and then Orange Mound, and then Coliseum, and you go north, you're in East Memphis. And it's where that space where they met brought us together, and I think that's totally important. And it's in 1973, there was nothing we needed more than Larry Finch to heal this city. To be honest, when I moved here in '94, I don't know about you. When I moved here, I knew that Martin Luther King was assassinated here, and I knew that Elvis Presley was from here. That's what I knew.
Yeah, that's about what I knew.
Right. In my doctoral program, I'm much more. I've read a lot more. So I've in the last 27, 28 years, I've got a much better understanding of Memphis. But I still come back to, and my friends from back home will ask me in New York, why did King get shot in Memphis? And I think there's some deep scars, some deep hurts, pains on both sides of the Beltline. And basketball was a way to bring our communities together. And the way that Larry Finch brings the community together is the way that Penny Hardaway is bringing us together right now. And I think it's great to watch when this city gets behind the Tigers, and it's just fun. So
there's no doubt. That's one thing I learned quickly is what Memphis Tiger basketball means to the city. And Grizzlies, they've built a fan base on it, but there's still nothing like in the city Tiger basketball when it's rolling. That 2008 season was I've just never going to the Final Four and seen that. Right. It was absolutely incredible. All right. Where can folks get this book, first of
all? They can find it online at Amazon and Barnes & Noble. They can find it locally at Oxbow, right off of Poplar, and they can find it at Novel Books. All right, so those are the local places you can get that, and so love for those guys to grab a copy of it. And if they run by Christian Brothers High School, I'd be more than happy to sign it for them. And in fact, I think Oxbow, most of the copies at Oxbow it's an alumni of Christian Brothers. I've signed most of those.
Damon and the gang over there.
Yeah, Damon, the Waxler family, and they've taken great care of me over there at Oxbow. And I've signed their copies, and so this is just, to me, it's fun when somebody comes by and says that, and it's I get to hear their story. Where were they? Even when I was writing the book, Bubba Luckett, he sat down in his time, and he's got some great stories when he was playing with Keith Lee, with Dana Kirk, and that team, because he graduates in 79. Graduated from Christian Brothers in 79, so he misses the Final Four team by 1 year. But he's got some great stories, and there's that connection, which is, and he too was at the unveiling for Finch's statue. So that it's what this community really is. Yeah. Memphis basketball is Memphis. I love what the football program is doing, but when you get to the bottom line here in this town, this is a basketball town.
There's no doubt. So you can you still got time to get it as a little stocking stuffer or a gift for somebody for the holiday. Again, available here locally at a couple of places. But then before I let you go, you're working on another book.
Yeah, I am. It's here's another story people don't know. The Memphis Red Sox. The commissioner of baseball just last December, said that the 7 Negro League associations are now major league level. And so that means in the city of Memphis, we had professional baseball, Major League Baseball. And so from 1921 until 55, 56, we had professional baseball in Memphis. They played at a black-owned stadium, Martin Stadium, which was probably as good it was as a stadium equivalent to Rustwood. And so actually Rustwood was made out of wood and burned down. Everybody knows that story. But the Steel Stadium, had an uplift in 46. And interesting, a lot of the Negro League teams are owned by white men and had to play at either minor league or major league fields and wait for the white teams to be out of town. Whereas the Red Sox owned their own stadium. So they set their schedule, and they were fluid the whole time, always stayed solvent, always paid the bills. Players always got paid. There's some great guys. Larry Brown was probably one of the greatest catchers in Negro League baseball. Verdell Mathis beat Satchel Paige a couple of times. Joe B. Scott is a player that plays here. And how about Charlie Pride? If our country music fans out there, Charlie Pride. And so, that's what I'm working on. So the next couple of years.
Yeah, when is that? Yeah, when do you expect to have that done?
I'm probably about halfway right now. It takes probably about 2 or 3 years to put something solid together, especially with teaching 5 classes over there at Christian Brothers every day. And then about a year or 2 to get through the publisher, the editing process. A lot of my kids in class will be like, "Well, how long did it take?" And I'm like, "I think it took me about 5 to 7 years to write the Memphis Hoops book." So And then their next question is how much money you're making. And I'm like, I didn't do this for the money. I did this for the love of the game and the city. Absolutely. This is my adopted hometown. Memphis has adopted me. I've met my wife here. We've been married for 26 years now. Memphis has treated me incredibly well. And this is my way to give back to a city that's loved me. And so with this, we're there. So, Eli, I definitely appreciate you having me on.
Well, listen, appreciate you coming by again, folks. Check it out. Memphis Hoops, Race and Basketball in the Bluff City, 1968 to 1997. Dr. Keith Wood is the author. Again, you can find it locally, or you can just order it online by going to Amazon and all the other places. Again, make a great little holiday gift for somebody. But it's interesting history about Memphis and Memphis basketball, no doubt about that. Thank you, man. Appreciate you coming by. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. All that good stuff.
Yeah, I hope that I'm not as jolly as John Varlas is in here with all the Merry Christmas thing. I did my best. I had my tiger blue on, and I was like, man, I should have like Christmas red or something, but I did my best, Eli. Thanks again, brother.
I took care of the
there
Christmas
you go.
red.
You're the man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. That's Dr. Keith Wood. We'll take a break, come back with more. Matt Dillon, Tiger Basketball Report, is up next here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Brett Norsworthy and Gabe Kuhn drive you home with Sports Time on Sports 56. Brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales. Weekday afternoons from 3 to 6 right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine is celebrating their 35th year. Come in today and choose from a big selection of tequilas, vodkas, and over 70 different single malts. Bourbon whiskey fans will find over 200 bourbons and whiskeys from around the world, along with wines from every region for all you wine enthusiasts. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, 146 Highway 72, Suite 102 in Collierville. It's next to Captain John's Barbecue. Open every day, including Sundays from 10 to 7 for football and all sports fans. Wilkinson's Liquor and Wine, celebrating 35 years with you.
The holidays are fast approaching, so start on your list now at Mid-South Hobbies. E-Flight Airplanes, Athearn Trains. Mid-South Hobbies has a huge selection of cars, trucks, and boats from Arma, Losi, Axial 1/10 and 1/24 scale cars, trucks, and crawlers. Spectrum batteries and all accessories are here now. Santa shops local. Hope you do too. Make your holidays fun and exciting at Mid-South Hobbies. Open 7 days a week at 4862 Summer at Mendenhall. Call 901-682-9402 for more details and information. Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from Mid-South Hobbies.
You may be into punk rock, soft rock, or classic rock, R&B, hip-hop, or house, country, techno, or techno-country. But no matter what kind of music you listen to, here's something else you should hear. Please consider getting vaccinated. Talk to your pharmacist today about Comirnaty, COVID-19 vaccine mRNA. This message brought to you by BioNTech and Pfizer.
Hi, friends. Bill Russell at Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, and it's crunch time now. But don't worry. Just because you waited till the last minute doesn't mean you will miss out on anything. At least not if you come and see us at Russell Brothers. We have a huge inventory of some of the most wonderful jewelry you have ever seen. Whatever you know would please her, whether it's a pair of diamond studs or a magnificent silver or 14-karat gold bangle, maybe it's a beautiful sapphire pendant or a spectacular emerald and diamond ring. We've got anything your lady would want, and when you give her a gift, beautifully wrapped in a Russell Brothers box, you know you've given her the finest quality that's available. Since 1985, Russell Brothers has been helping Memphis men be the best Santa possible. So, if you want to give her a gift that will last a lifetime, come see us at Russell Brothers, where you can be confident that you've given her the very best. It's getting down to the wire, but don't settle for less than the best. She deserves it. Russell Brothers Fine Jewelers, 4646 Poplar at Perkins.
Mount Moriah Auto Sales. What sets them apart? Great selection, quality, high-end to low-end cars, and low mileage. Mount Moriah Auto Sales is under new management. Ask for Emmett or Steven. Check out their great selection of cars or trucks. Choose from Dodges, Jeeps, Fords, GMCs, Infinitis, Porsches, Range Rovers, Lexus, Mercedes, BMWs, even Bentleys. Mount Moriah Auto Sales also has a great service department with 12 bays for everything from oil changes to alignment to new tires. Go to MountMoriahAutoSales.com. Pick out your like new car or truck today. Mount Moriah Auto Sales, right on the corner and right on the price.
Sports 56 traffic.
We do have an update. I-40 eastbound lanes are now open. I-40 eastbound lanes are now open at Germantown Parkway, so you can use the interstate now. If you're heading in that direction, I-40 northbound, the eastbound, I-40 eastbound lanes are now open there. We still working accidents on Shelby Drive and Mill Branch Road, and then also accident on Prescott near Cherokee Boulevard. That's just west of I-240. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
Underneath the mistletoe last night, she didn't see me creep down the stairs to have a peep. She thought
Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, all that good stuff. Just a couple of days away from the Christmas holiday. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd here. No Greg Gaston today. Greg will be rejoining the program sometime next week as we roll along here on this Thursday, December 23rd. Again, mostly sunny skies expected today with highs in the low 60s. We're live in the Family Leisure Studios. That is where family and fun come together. Do some last-minute shopping over at Family Leisure at 2120 Whitten Road. And this hour of the program is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Time for the Tiger Basketball Report.
It's time to talk Tiger hoops. It's the Tiger Basketball Report with Tigers radio analyst Matt Dillon. The Tiger Basketball Report is brought to you by Central Barbecue, Ben's Winger Glass, the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Louis Deli and Meat Markets, East Memphis Ace Hardware, and Crab Kings. Now, here's Matt Dillon with Greg and Eli.
Tigers radio analyst Matt Dillon joins us normally on Fridays, but no show tomorrow, so he's joining us on Thursday this week. Hello, Matt. Merry Christmas to you.
Merry Christmas to you, Eli, as well. And, man, what a week we've had in Tiger basketball.
It is. It was an interesting day on Saturday. So let me, because I don't know exactly when word hit in the arena, because I was coming into town, and it was right as I got into Nashville. Were you on the air already when the game was canceled? What take us through your experience of the cancellation of the game?
What we did that morning is we went over early. Myself and Dan O'Brien, our radio engineer, we went over to kind of get everything set up to make sure we're in the right positions and everything else. So we got there about 7:30. Everything's going smooth. Of course, the people up there, the Predators who handle that building, they're pretty professional. They got everything, set up for us. Got a Bex feed and everything. Man, it's going to be a great day, a great game and whatever. So we got set. And what happens normally in the pregame, I do a interview with Cody Toppert, of course, Dave, does Penny Hardaway. So we're in the back, and it's about 7 or 8 minutes before airtime. I'm thinking, man, where are these guys at? We're waiting for interviews. So I finally told Dave, I said, look, obviously something is holding them up. So what I'll do, you stay back here to get Coach Hardaway, and I'll run and start the show with our studio host, Jeff Brightwell. So I go and sit down, and a guy from Tennessee, their SID, comes over to me, and he says, hey, Matt, he said, the game's fixing to be canceled. I looked at him and I said, what? I thought maybe it's not April Fool's Day or whatever it is, So he said, no, the game's going to be canceled. So I knew he was serious. So I get up and I race to the back, and Greg's there, Greg Gasson's there, Giannotta, and Jason and Dave are all back there. And I said, guys, the game's about to be canceled. And they looked at me like I was crazy. They're going, what's wrong with you? I said, nothing. Game canceled? I said, yes, it's going to be canceled. So, no, it's not. They're all giving me a bunch of grief. Well, it's not 10 seconds later. The PA announcer comes over to the arena. Today's game is being canceled, blah, blah, blah. And people are just standing around stunned, Eli, because they're going, what in the world is happening? Some of the personnel had gotten into the arena, setting up the equipment, the locker room, and all that kind of stuff. They had come in and to get that set up. And so I ran back, and what we eventually did is we went on for about 15 minutes, Dave and myself, kind of explaining on Facebook and telling everybody what's going on. we had Facebook Live going on, and, of course, our radio broadcast as well. So just trying to explain, hey, this is what's going on. It was really a shocker. I mean, and, of course, we've all been around games for a while. This is the first time this has ever happened to me in this kind of situation. I knew when they weren't there by the time for us to have the interview, something was wrong, or something had happened. And of course, then everything comes out and says, "Hey, this is what's going on." So very strange. I know it's long, Eli, but very strange.
It's strange is no doubt. That's one thing it is definitely described as a strange to cancel the game at that point. And it's unfortunate for the Tigers, and we've talked about this because the Tigers need wins against good teams, and this was another opportunity to get one of those. And we don't know what would have happened, but it's been a rough week beyond the fact that they have to cancel the game and then they're on pause. Like this week, the teams they have played, it has not worked out well for the Tigers at all because
it really has not.
Alabama
you're
loses
exactly
to Davidson, right. Ole Miss loses to Samford. Last night, Virginia Tech's up on Duke at half. You're thinking, wow, Virginia Tech, this would be huge. They end up losing that game. Not that that's a bad loss, but it's still, had a chance to a team you've beaten, one of your best wins, to get a really good win. And then Georgia's now lost to George Mason and East Tennessee State in 2 of their last 3 games. That loss is going to be just an eyesore that we thought it was going to be by the end of the year. So they're getting no help. So they needed another opportunity against a really good team. And then Tennessee beats Arizona. That's the team you didn't get to play is the one picking up good wins.
It's about the worst scenario you could have take place, to be honest with you. You're right. And then you look up now, hopefully we will be able to play at Tulane to open the league, but you look at their net rating, it's 224 right now. That doesn't help you anything. Okay, well, maybe we'll go in Wichita. Well, Wichita is not bad. They're 73, so that's an important game. You got to get that one on the road. Of course, it's going to be New Year's Day. We're spending lovely New Year's Eve in Wichita, Kansas. Nothing against Wichita. I'm sure it's a nice place, but not where I want to be on New Year's Eve. But some of the other ratings for the league teams are just absolutely horrendous. Now, there's a stretch in January, and we look at the schedule coming up. You've got Cincinnati and UC back-to-back in early January. Now, UC's 55, UCF is 49, although they're dropping now a little bit. Those are 2 games that are looming quick to be very big. We didn't think maybe that UC or UCF would be in that situation, but they are. So that's something that to look forward to. If you get the team back in sync, get them on schedule, and everything's going on. But Eli, again, as we talked before, this past pandemic, how many of these games are going to be on schedule and at the times they're supposed to be? We don't know that yet. There's the problem you get into again. And some of these games may not be made up. You just don't know, and that's where the uncertainty of this thing is looming. And I just do not know where this pandemic is going right now. And it looks like all these cancellations you see around the country, the possibility of missing some games is certainly pretty looming, I guess, like an iceberg. You're on a ship and trying to dodge it.
Well, yeah.
There it is. And can you get through it?
Well, that's the thing. And some of these conferences now are changing their policy, and it's not going to be a forfeit, although the AAC is sticking with the forfeit. Although people, I think, get worried, oh, my gosh, you have to forfeit again. The committee at the end of the year is not going to go, well, we would put you in the tournament, but you lost to Tulane. Well, no, they didn't lose. They forfeited the game. That's not going to affect the committee. The problem is it's just games you don't get to win. That's what it becomes, is it's games you don't get to win when you rack up extra wins and all that stuff. So that's where it hurts you if you end up, and especially if it ends up being some of these good games, because that's the thing. They're the only team in the conference that would be a quad, even a possibility of a quad 1 win when they come to your building is Houston. Everybody else would have to be a road game, and there's only a few of those, and we don't even know where they'll end up, but maybe Cincinnati, maybe UCF, maybe Wichita State that will be quad 1 wins if you get it on the road.
That's exactly right. And one thing, Eli, we talked about this before, and last year it came up, this league has to get Houston and Memphis playing twice.
Yes.
You have to. I mean, whatever they have to do to make that to happen, good for the Tigers in Houston and also for the league. They need those games to carry on, and certainly you would think the commissioner learned that from last year to get those two games definitely circled and able to play. So those are two big ones, obviously. And, again, what's going to happen to the Tiger program? I mean, are we going to be able to go to Tulane and play? I think that's the big thing. They're planning on coming back the 27th and see what happens. But, again, the way this pandemic is, you just don't know how this thing's going to play out. And I was hoping and saying to myself, maybe this year will be different. Well, right now it's starting to kind of go down that same path a little bit we had before, and you hate to see that. And maybe, and knock on wood here, that everything will be okay in the end. But what a strange situation at Tennessee. And to be honest with you, I know Coach Barnes was walking by, and we kind of stopped him for a moment, just said, "Hey, Coach, is there a chance that this game's going to be made up?" And he just shook his head and said, "No, it's not going to happen." So that made you feel kind of a sinking feeling as well. And needless to say, he wasn't very happy what happened that day. You know, they were there and ready to play, and just an unusual situation. And it's odd. We're sitting there watching them scrimmage against each other, thinking, man, this could be a game. And some of the fans just shocked. I mean, they're there traveling up there to Eli and spent money and stayed in hotels and everything, which was kind of sad for them as well, because it was going to be a big crowd. It was a sellout. It was going to be a big crowd, and everything was in line to be a great afternoon of basketball.
I mean, a lot of folks drove in. We were just driving in that day and driving home, and I feel terrible for them that they drove 6 hours for nothing, literally for nothing. You know, there was others that were we were staying that night, so we, at least we still had a good time in Nashville. You know, I wanted to watch a basketball game, and it would have been went there for a basketball game. But as it turns out, we ended up just having fun. But I mean, the bars on Broadway, it was quite. I mean, if there had been a game going on, I think they were all been empty. But as it was, they were all packed. I mean, it was just blue and orange everywhere at every one of the bars. It turned out it was a funny sight, because you just see all of these Memphis and Tennessee fans all like, we got nothing better to do than drink at this point, so let's go to the bars.
You're exactly right, and the weather was great. And, that's one of the big questions, Eli, going forward. Somebody said, well, could this game be in Nashville every year? So you wonder, hey, neutral site, middle of the state, people could drive. I mean, would it be something you could start every year, just having that game, up in Nashville and kind of making an event every year? That's one part of the equation. And then do you try to get home and aways and everything? I think it's going to be an interesting development. Will this schedule against Tennessee, will it continue, and what will happen? That will be something going forward that will be very interesting to see if it takes place.
I don't see it happening as long as Rick Barnes and Penny Hardaway are the two coaches, because I just don't think Rick Barnes likes Penny from some of the stuff Penny has said, and I don't think he wants to play it. I think the only way would be at neutral court, and I have no problem with it being in Nashville, maybe not every year, but if they could play in Nashville every 2-3 years, I think it is cool to set that setting that both are. It's equal distance, kind of right there in the middle. But I think Rick Barnes has probably had enough. And as I said, Tennessee doesn't need it. I mean, they've got an SEC schedule. Plus, this year they've played Villanova, Texas Tech, Arizona. They still have to play Texas. They don't need Memphis on their schedule. Like they're scheduling really just fine. Their schedule is brutal as it is.
Yeah, it really is. They've had a very tough non-conference schedule. Of course, they go in there and knock off Arizona's first loss of the year at home, and that's a big game for them as well. So I guess the effects of the layoff didn't bother them, and then they go into the SEC. Some very difficult games indeed. So, yeah, scheduling is going to be real dicey in the future, I'm afraid. I hope that's not the case, because I've enjoyed this series, because I've been around it a long time. There's been some great moments in it, but we'll see. Coaches do what they have to do, and I will say this: Coach Barnes was not very happy the other day when we were there talking to him a little bit. You could tell he was pretty miffed, and some of the fans are certainly disappointed. You hate it for them more than anything else, and the players, because they wanted to play it, and everybody was there having a great time and all that, and it did not go the way we certainly thought it was going to go. And hopefully they can get back together, Eli, because this is a big game on the schedule in the past. And as I said, great memories of this series. And these two teams have had some classic battles over the years.
Yeah. Well, this will go down as a not a great moment, but a memorable moment. You'll remember this one. You'll remember this Memphis Tennessee. I can't say game. This will go down in history. That's for sure.
Yeah, I remember I was driving to Nashville that morning and I had to turn around and go home or whatever. Of course, the band drove up and had to turn around and go back. I mean, it was just a kind of nutty day. But hopefully everybody can get healthy. You just don't know what's going on.
Well, the thing is, that thing you get another positive test, and all of a sudden you're shut right back down with the way it's set up.
Well, that's the problem. You think at Tulane now, they haven't played since the 7th of December right now, and you don't know about them. In fact, I was kind of looking at their stuff last night getting ready for the game. Jalen Cook didn't play the last game. He's a league scorer in the American at 19 a game. I don't know if he was part of that situation.
Yeah.
They have juggled their lineup, Eli, back and forth. I guess just plugging guys in there to make sure they have enough to play. So we'll see whether Tulane can get it going or not. I would not think it would be an easy proposition to get it back. Once you lose that much time, it's like almost kind of start practice over again because you've been off basically, not been able to do very much. And how sharp will they be when you go down there and play Tulane? There's not a big crowd there normally. Mostly a lot of Tiger fans, to be honest with you, are down there in Tulane when you play down at Fogum. And so we'll see how that goes out. And then you can turn right around and go back to Wichita. And it was funny. My wife was looking at me. She goes, "Let me see here, dear. You're missing Thanksgiving. You were in New York. Christmas Eve, you're in a football game in the studio doing that for the Hawaii Bowl. And now you're going to be in Wichita, Kansas on New Year's Eve and then playing at 11 New Year's Day. Boy, that's going to be an interesting development. How many hungover people are going to be there or sleeping it off or whatever 11 o'clock in the morning on New Year's Day?
If they could only switch those two games, there's a slight difference between spending New Year's Eve in Wichita and spending it in New Orleans. Just a slight difference, I believe.
Yeah, I think it's all the way around the globe there, circle there, all the way a big circle there. And take it. Yeah, I would much rather be obviously in New Orleans, but again, hopefully we can just get these games in and get everybody healthy. That's the big thing, and that's the first thing, obviously, of course, getting everybody back and able to play. We'll see what happens. Of course, we had the reception the night before, which is very interesting. Eli, we were there, and of course the players were there and mixing around with the people. I did go get tested. I was negative, but fortunately for me, I did not have a positive test or anything, so it worked out okay for me. But
well, that is good.
You got to go take that test. You kind of get worried a little bit. Are you going to be all right? Because we're around these guys so much and a lot of people. But fortunately for me, it worked out.
Well, like I said, hopefully next Wednesday they'll play another basketball game at Tulane, but it's fingers crossed at this point. And then that Wichita State game again, that's one of the bigger games. Like that's one of the opportunities. That would be one of the better wins that you have a chance of getting in conference play is at Wichita State.
Yes, that's going to be a big one. And that's not an easy place to play traditionally. It's been very difficult to play there. The Tigers have won a little bit there, but man, will that crowd be up or down at 11 o'clock on New Year's Day? That's what you wonder about. Well, what's going to happen with that crowd? They usually make a lot of noise, and they get in there and they pack that place out. Now, they draw. I really have to give them credit. They're really in tune to that basketball team with no football program. That's something they look at to have Shocker basketball be good.
Well, Matt, enjoy your Christmas. Again, you'll be a part of the broadcast Christmas Eve on the football game, the bowl game out in Hawaii. But have a Merry Christmas, and we'll talk to you again next week and hopefully have actual games to talk about.
Well, let's hope so, Eli. Merry Christmas to you and, of course, all your fans out there that are listening today. And have a safe and happy Christmas, everybody. And let's get Tiger basketball cranked back up.
Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Eli.
Tiger Basketball Report brought to you by Binswanger Glass, Crab Kings, East Memphis Ace Hardware, Central Barbecue, and the law offices of Stephen Leffler, and Louis Deli and Meat Market. I actually went and ate lunch at Central Barbecue yesterday, and then I went to Louis Deli and Meat Market. That's where I got my big old tomahawk ribeye for my Christmas meal. So was a part of a couple of those just yesterday, as a matter of fact. And I'll be cooking that ribeye on my big green egg that I got at East Memphis Ace Hardware to tie it all together. Back to wrap up hour number 2 right after this here on Sports 56 Mornings on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You have opinions?
The knowledge that I have matters.
We want to hear them. Call or text us on the AutoZone listener line at 360-8255. That's the AutoZone listener line at 901-360-8255.
Get in the zone, AutoZone. At Louis Deli and Meat Market in Arlington, you'll not only see the quality, you'll taste the quality in every bite. Got a tailgate party or a backyard get-together? Ask Louis to make a deli meat and cheese tray. Score big with Louis sausages and bratwurst. Handmade fresh in the store. No time to cook? Louis now carries Oh Great, locally owned and made. Oh Great's take and bake foods include their famous chicken spaghetti, shepherd's pie, quiche, soups, desserts, breakfast foods, and more. Louis Deli and Meat Market in Arlington, 11695 Highway 70, just a quarter mile east of Highway 385. Veteran owned, Louis Deli and Meat Market. Quality you can see and taste.
Hey, Jeff Allen, I hear you're making everybody holiday happy over at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
That's right, Randy. We're closing the year with the Gossett Kia Command the Season sales event.
Not to mention, every Kia comes with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty program.
Plus, right now, I've got 2022 Kia Forte 179. Only $27.99 due at signing. Or get a 2022 Kia Sportage LX 199 per month or 2022 Kia Sorento $279 a month. Both $34.99 due at signing and all 36-month leases. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, and let's not forget Lewisburg, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah, 2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
All 36-month leases, $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Sorrento NGO 92178, MSRP $30,875. Sportage N7017,625, MSRP $25,815. Forte 8429,506, MSRP $21,035. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 103/21. Dealer stock only.
Need to sell your home? You're in luck because I buy houses. All you have to do is call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's 901-406-1101. Grab that pin, 901-406-1101, or just save it in your phone. Bill at I Buy Houses. I Buy Houses buys houses in any area, in any condition, at any time, as simple as that. I Buy Houses is guaranteed to close in 5 days. So if you need your cash fast, just call Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101. Has your house been on the market? Were you just tired of renters? Or is it just time to start over? Well, avoid repairing, cleaning, painting, and prepping your house. Just pick up the phone and call Bill at 901-406-1101. That's Bill at I Buy Houses. If you're in Southwind, South Memphis, North Mississippi, North Memphis, Collierville, if you can hear this, just call my friend Bill at I Buy Houses, 901-406-1101.
There's a new commissary in town in Collierville. Germantown Commissary is doubling. Yeah, they're still going to have the old Germantown Commissary by the tracks, but now there's a huge new Germantown Commissary in Collierville at Poplar and Houston Levee Road. It's huge, too. There's a drive-through. There's plenty of parking. No telephone pole to get in your way. A cool patio. It's right by the track, so the tradition continues. And this is a tradition that's been around forever. That commissary is famous for hickory-smoked, slow-cooked Memphis-style barbecue. They've got a private party room at the new one in Collierville. Self-catering still continues. Party packs for $5.95. Basically, the great ribs, the great pulled shoulder, the great deviled eggs. Everything is there in Collierville and Germantown now. So there is now a Germantown and Collierville style of barbecue. It's called Germantown Commissary.
I want to do some bragging rights. Hey, I was just the other day overhearing a conversation with Big Mike, the manager of DeSoto Auto Sales. They've got people buying cars all over the country. North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas. People from all over the country buy cars at DeSoto Auto Sales in Olive Branch, Mississippi. Why? DeSoto Auto Sales has the most stringent car inspection in America. They get it right the first time. Quality and low mileage, factory warranty on most vehicles. My favorite part is the people who work there. Big Mike, all the employees are professional, friendly, and go that extra mile. Expect as you walk in the door, you're treated like family. DeSoto Auto Sales understands your time matters. We can help you find your dream car and get all the paperwork finished in less than an hour. Come see us at DeSoto Auto Sales and be part of our family. Have a great buying experience every time. 662-890-7184.
There's nothing more frustrating than when your garage door breaks down. You're trying to get to work and it just won't open. What's the deal? Well, I'm not a garage door expert, but my friends at New Day Overhead Doors are. I was using New Day to fix my garage door way before they came aboard with us. They're your one-stop shop for all your garage door and garage door opener maintenance needs. True professionals. New Day will beat their major competitor prices and get this, often by half the price. 30 years experience, honest, dependable, family-owned business. Don't ignore those strange noises your garage door may be making. It's New Day Overhead Doors for a simple repair or new garage door opener system. To schedule your appointment, call 9013-515177. That's 9013-515177.
Now, back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by James Gaddis Jewelers. Here once again are Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy.
The mood is right. The spirit's up. We're here tonight. And that's enough.
Welcome back. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Having a wonderful Christmas time.
I hope everybody's having a wonderful Christmas time. Mike is dialed in on the AutoZone listener line, 901-360-8255. Merry Christmas, Mike. What's up?
Hey, well, I was going to go, and one thing that really hurts the Tigers is that 18 games they have to play at the Pyramid. That kind of,
Well, not at the Pyramid. They had to play the Pyramid. It'd be tough to play at the Pyramid these days.
I mean, they're 4 hard. 71 years old, you
have to run around the fish and the boats. That'd be really difficult to play the Pyramid.
We can make some space.
It'd be fun to watch, though. I'd actually kind of be entertained by that.
But I think if they could, make it 16 games, give them a couple of games, they could get home and homes. Because I think that cuts down the quality teams that they can bring in.
Yeah, well, thanks, Mike. I mean, obviously, it limits what you could do as far as some neutral site games or something like that against some big opponents. But it's also, teams like home games because they make money off of them too. So but there certainly is some difficulties to that. But that's when you are playing in the building that is owned by another. You don't have your own building to play in. There are contracts and limits as far as that is concerned. Mentioned Tennessee beating Arizona last night. John Fulkerson was amazing in that game. 24-10 for Fulkerson as Tennessee wins despite Kennedy Chandler going just 2 of 14 from the field in that game. Mentioned Duke beating Virginia Tech, Georgia losing to East Tennessee State, which does not help, again, Memphis with that loss to Georgia on their resume. And the NBA, you look at the Christmas Day schedule, we said we don't know for sure if all the games will get played, but yesterday Luka Doncic goes in the health and safety protocols. So of the superstars who are scheduled to play on Christmas Day, and now some of these could get out of the health and safety protocols, but right now you have Giannis, Luka, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, James Harden, Trae Young, all in the health and safety protocols. And all the teams, like the Knicks have 6 guys. The Jazz and Phoenix are the only 2 that do not have a single player right now in health and safety protocols that are playing on Christmas Day. So they should be good to go. We'll see if all the others are going to be good to go. Speaking of good to go, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl is good to go next Tuesday. As of right now, they're good to go. We believe they will be. Texas Tech, Mississippi State. And we will wrap up the week with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader coming up in just a moment. Here on Sports 56 Mornings, Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Is your bank standing in the way of you and your sportsbook? Try Action 24/7. We're cutting out the middleman. Deposit or withdrawal in cash. No more bank delays or failures. Action 24/7 has more than 100 partners in Tennessee for cash deposits and withdrawals. Visit action247.com for a location. Cash deposits and withdrawals from your Tennessee sportsbook. Action247.com. You got action.
Must be 21 or older and in Tennessee. For problem gambling support, call 800-889-9789.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Now at Banana Republic Factory, 50 to 70% off everything. Discover winter essentials, holiday party looks, last-minute gifts, and more from $14.99. Find your nearest store or shop online. Only at Banana Republic Factory.
They say this game can take you far. Your moves can take you further. Make moves that start movements.
Hennessy, spirit of the Memphis Grizzlies.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis, and I know it's been around for 115 years. You know, I'm talking about Dinstall's, and it's time to stock up heavy on Cashew Crunch, Heavenly Crunch, Turtlettes, all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. So easy to get. The sweetest thing in Memphis, all you have to do is head to Laurelwood or head to Germantown and Poplar right across from the hospital, or go where they make the candies. That's on Pleasant View. There's nothing that says Memphis better than Cashew Crunch with that little tinge of coconut, or the Turtlettes. Let's face it, there's nothing better than Dinstall's chocolate. That's the mainstay of all candies, isn't it? Milk chocolate, although their dark chocolate is pretty darn good. And if you get the peppermint with the dark chocolate and put it in the freezer, you're going to love it. So many ways to love Dinstall's. Stock up heavy on all of your favorite Dinstall's treats. 115 years of making Memphis oh so sweet.
Help Heal Veterans helps veterans with PTSD and stress from military service and isolation during the coronavirus. For the next minute, let's take a minute to relieve stress together. We'll do the 4-7-8 breathing exercise. First, sit with your back straight. Second, place your tongue against the roof of your mouth behind your front teeth. Now, exhale through your mouth and around your tongue. If this seems awkward, shape your lips like you're whistling. Close your mouth and inhale through your nose for the count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold your breath for the count of 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And exhale completely through your mouth. Make a whoosh sound and count to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Do this cycle 3 more times. Learn more at healvets.org. This message is furnished by Help Heal Veterans.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Sports 56 traffic.
Just want to give you guys an update. The accident from earlier this morning on I-40. The eastbound lanes on I-40, that accident has been cleared and the lanes are open. That's I-40. Eastbound lanes are open at Germantown Parkway. So you can use that part of the interstate now that the accident has been cleared. Keep it right here. This is your Sports 56 traffic update.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. It's time now for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour. Here are your hosts, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Harold Grader.
Welcome back. It is Sports 56 Mornings on this Thursday, 2 days before the Christmas holiday. Merry Christmas to everybody out there. Hope your holiday week is going very, very well. Eli Savoy, Zach Boyd here today. No Greg Gaston. We've had a parade of guests coming through. We had John Varlas earlier. We had Keith Wood here earlier. And now we, of course, being Thursday, being the 9 o'clock hour, means the one and only Harold Grader stops by. Hello, Harold Grader.
Hey, Eli Savoy, good morning. Merry Christmas to you and everyone in the audience. It is upon us.
It is upon us.
It is upon us.
For you, that means that the game is upon us as well.
It surely is. And obviously, excuse me, a lot of stuff swirling around in the world of sport, and certainly college football is not immune to any of that. We talk to our teams each and every day, multiple times. So I know the question is coming, so I'll jump right out there. To the best of our knowledge, our teams are good to go. All of us at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl, good to go. And we are full go at all of our events that we'll be putting on. And the weather is outstanding. Don't know if you follow us on Twitter. We had some Twitter action yesterday with the painting of the field at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. Our iconic patriotic paint scheme on the football field. So, when you see that, it's real. Yeah. It's here. And, again, we're full go, and we're ready.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I know you guys, I'm sure, feel for the folks at the Gator Bowl.
Absolutely.
To be dealing with this and trying to find a replacement at this time. And
yep.
We were hoping that the last year was the only year we're going to have to deal with that. But it's obvious that this probably won't be the last time we deal with this year, because it's happening all over sports right
Perhaps
now.
not. And you think back to a year ago, ultimately there were 17 bowl games for one reason or another, all COVID related, that did not get to play their games. And obviously we teetered on that as well when word came from Tennessee that they weren't going to be able to come to the game. Luckily for us, there was a replacement last year in Army. So happy for the folks down in Jacksonville. They have a new executive director, former Georgia athletics director Greg McGarity, who is a Jacksonville guy, retired from Georgia and took over as the executive director of the Gator Bowl. And so we obviously the initial news, not great when A&M had to pull out, and then they announced a cancellation. But then, obviously the phone calls start going, and glad to see that they were. Apparently, it's Rutgers, correct?
Or
is that done? I haven't seen the news this morning.
There was various stuff,
but there was talk about that late last night.
Yes, it came out that it was going to be Rutgers, but there was another report that said somebody from the Gator Bowl had said there has been no contact with Rutgers yet, because they don't know. From what I understand, I think it was ESPN was reporting, there was supposed to be a meeting, I guess this morning, of the Football Oversight Committee to decide what the policy is.
Right.
Because if the policy is we just go to the 5 and 7 teams and go by top APR, then Rutgers is the first candidate. So that's what everybody kind of assumed would be the thing. But if they decide, there's also the thought they may just say, we're going to leave it up to the bowl game
to work out their own
the
deal.
Conference.
Yeah.
Find your replacement. Obviously, it can't be a 2 and 10 team. It needs to be a 5 and 7 team, because there was the thought that Illinois, I don't know if you saw Brett Bielema on Twitter immediately was like, hey, we're here. That Illinois, they may want Illinois more. One of the main reasons because Shad Khan,
the owner of the Jags.
Played at his stadium. He's an Illinois graduate, so he might be pushing for Illinois. So if they leave it up to the bowl and the conference, it may be Illinois. If they go by, we're just going to go down the list of APR teams 5 and 7, then it would be Rutgers would get that first shot. So I don't know if when that meeting's supposed to be held.
Yeah.
I don't know when we'll get an official word on that, but apparently it will be either Rutgers or Illinois. Which to me it's a little. I mean, these teams that we're talking about have been off for basically a month.
Yeah.
Kids have been home for probably a week or so, 2 weeks. To all of a sudden assemble and play a game a week later.
That's right.
Seems very difficult.
Yeah, just to restart the engine, so to speak, for an entire football program. I mean, it is immense. I know what it's like to have a team that's active and has been preparing since the end of the season to come here, and to hit the start button again and get those gears going and everything that's involved. I mean, nothing is impossible, and you do what you got to do. And, I would think that the Gator Bowl, that's more or less their mentality. We just want to play our game.
Yeah.
And maybe not if it gets down to brass tacks, don't quibble over who the opponent is. Just
give us somebody. We just want somebody.
Yeah. Somebody.
And I'm sure Wake Forest is saying, Wake Forest, like, we've been going through this whole process. Like, we don't want to have to not play now. We want to play somebody.
That's right. That's right. You don't want to penalize those kids and that program. So it'll be, you would think possibly today, probably today.
Yeah,
I mean, because
they have to know.
Yeah, they got to know. They got to know what's happening and whoever that replacement team is. And, here we go again. But hopefully, there will not be other bowl brethren who are faced with this situation.
It's funny because I thought when that first announced, I was worried about the University of Memphis just because Hawaii. Right. I know Hawaii's been very strict throughout this stuff with their letting people in and out. But it actually probably works out best for Memphis. One, it's one of the earlier bowls. We're seeing these earlier bowls are kind of getting done without any issues.
That's right.
It's probably the later ones are going to have more issues because we're just seeing more and more cases continue to crop up everywhere. And everywhere in the world of sports, we're getting more cases.
Yeah, and it's that issue of for the later games. And right now, I would say we're kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
When we traditionally play on the 31st, we are one of the later games. And, so those later games this year, those kids probably were sent home.
Exactly.
They did some bowl prep and they sent them home, and you have no idea what they're doing while they're at home or what they're exposed to. I know, I think it was like league wide, I thought, or maybe it was specific to Alabama. I'm hazy on the details, but I thought it was the entire SEC bowl contingent. When their players went home, they were sent home with a quote-unquote care package to, here's what you need to do, here's what you need to help yourself get through your time at home before you report back to campus to get ready for the bowl game.
Well, you look at, and you said hopefully the games aren't affected, certainly the playoff, although they did outline yesterday that, listen, if you can't play, it's a forfeit.
Right.
I mean, and there theoretically is, they outlined if the two teams in the championship game both couldn't play, we wouldn't have a champion this year. We would just vacate the championship for a year. But Alabama's got Bill O'Brien and Doug Marrone, not players, but two coaches. So it's within the program.
Yes.
So you just wonder.
Yep.
Ole Miss is pushed back their arrival in New Orleans. They're going to wait to make the trip because they've got some new positive cases. So it's, a lot of these, it's just, you just wonder, like, once it starts within the program, how much does it spread? And that becomes the question.
Yeah. I know yesterday that there was talk among schools that what do we do? Do we revert back to the plan of 2020 where we come in the night before the game and not do any of the traditional bowl events just to get through this? We had conversations yesterday, and, we are full go as we speak this morning, and we certainly hope that's the case. I mean, today is the 23rd, correct? It's been all a blur for me, but today's the 23rd. Our teams arrive Christmas Day afternoon. So we're 2 days away from Mississippi State and Texas Tech rolling into River City. And we have a Christmas event for them Saturday night. Santa Claus has one bit of work still to do on Christmas Day afternoon, evening.
That's good. You're going to get Santa to, once he's done and all his stuff, delivering all the gifts, he's coming back to, I guess he'll make Memphis his last stop. And then he'll just hang around for Saturday.
And you know what? That very may well be his plan.
That's good. Hey, I mean, I'm sure his planner's got that.
I think he was looking, because I know he was looking for a B&B for the reindeer. I said, we have a great zoo. I'm sure they can accommodate you. Whatever you need.
I was at the zoo last night for the zoo lights. For all the folks in Memphis, for all the kids out there listening.
Yeah.
Understand your gifts might be a little later arriving than normal because this is probably going to be his last stop since he's staying in town.
No, I'm confident when those kids wake up on Christmas morning.
Well, they'll be there.
Their stuff's going to be there.
He'll make sure it happens. He's never going to disappoint.
He has
the
a
kids.
worldwide network.
Just don't get up at like 2 a.m. and think maybe they're because they've normally been there at 2 a.m. Maybe this year they arrive at 4 a.m.
We'll see. But Santa will be greeting the teams and the families of the staffs. So again, we are full go. It is going to be just a torrid schedule of events. Starting on. Obviously, Saturday with the arrival of the teams, and then the dinners with Santa Saturday night. Sunday, it is full go, full schedule of events, press conferences with the coaches and the players, our pro rodeo out at Showplace Arena, and then we get to Monday, full day, because again, a compressed calendar this year because of the early game date from our traditional date. So we have FCA breakfast Monday morning at the Hilton, parade, pep rally, President's Gala, all on Monday.
That is a full
and
day.
In the middle of all that, press conferences with the 2 head coaches, and you go to bed that night, and you get up the next day, and it's game day on Tuesday the 28th. And again, through all of this, and thank you to all of our local television meteorologists. The weather is great. The forecast is wonderful, and we have seen that. I attribute it to that as ticket sales have continued. I think folks are looking, especially the local folks.
A lot of wait and see what the weather looks like it's going to be.
It's going to be awesome. Why not come out? Come out and enjoy Memphis. Enjoy a great, what we anticipate being an entertaining game. And, again, we're looking forward to December 28th, Tuesday, now, 5:45.
I guess TV dictates it all, but if this date at this time, the kind of night game rather than an afternoon game, if it goes really well, how much say do you, like you guys, boy, this actually worked out really well for us. When it comes around to next year, how much say do you guys have on the day and time of your game, or is it strictly TV's going to tell you when you're playing?
I mean, ultimately, it's their decision. It's ESPN's decision, but there is conversation. Typically, they give you 2, maybe 3 alternatives, and you look at the calendar. You look at all your analytics on what did you do on those days. What were the ticket sales? What were the television ratings? So we certainly have a voice, but ultimately, it's ESPN's decision. So I have not looked yet at the calendar for 2022. I'll do that probably the morning after the game when I wake up and, what does 2022 bring and what are the opportunities there? But, again, the opportunity for us to be in prime time in the East this year, because the actual kick by ESPN is 5:50 on television, because they'll come up, with a 5-minute pregame. So we're going to be prime time in the East, and that brings obviously more potential eyeballs to the televisions and all the devices for streaming and all of that. So we're eager to see what that brings as far as an audience, and we anticipate and expect a really good number. And with the matchup and the storylines, we're here in the middle of it here in the Mid-South with Mike Leach, and some may have. What's the word I'm looking for? The right word? Not. They're not tired of the Mike Leach story, but they're familiar with it.
Yeah.
So the intrigue isn't there as it was 2 years ago when he was hired. But I think nationally, that story is very intriguing. And coaching against his old school, and Tech being coached by his former player who was a record-setting quarterback at Texas Tech, and again, just the entertainment value of the ball being in the air a whole lot is exciting, and that's entertaining. And so we look forward to that from a television perspective. We've been talking about it now for a couple of weeks about everything wrapped around our package of what the entertainment pieces are of our presentation. And, as I have said in recent interviews, we're not deciding the national championship, but we anticipate having a very entertaining football game. Then you throw in the cowbells for Mississippi State, Bully the Bulldog being on their sideline. For Texas Tech, bringing all of their traditional activities new to Memphis, new to the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. And, that translates to Fearless Champion, the Black Stallion, the Masked Rider, and when the Red Raiders take the field with the Stallion and their Masked Rider, leading the team out of the field, and Fearless Champion racing down the field for 100 yards. And then every time Texas Tech scores, Fearless Champion comes out and runs around the field. Then the opening kickoff, you have the tortilla toss, and
the tortilla toss.
And again,
it cracks me up every time you say it. I had no idea that was a thing.
It's all in the wrist, I'm told. Just like a frisbee. And we're letting the Mississippi State folks have their cowbells. We've told the Texas Tech people absolutely bring your tortillas. Stadium security has been forewarned. these are good. These are clear.
Those are
okay
just my tortillas. Don't worry about those.
That's right. So for us, it's having the fans come and enjoy the game.
Well, that to me, we talk about bowl games all the time.
Yeah.
What are they? What do they mean? All of this stuff. We got players opting out, all this stuff, and you can get into that discussion. But one thing therefore is for the fans. It's for fans to make a trip to a city.
Yep.
Spend as many days there as they want to. Some will maybe just come in for the game and go home. Others want to make a trip out of it and spend 3-4 days there, which is awesome. It's great for the city. It's great for those fans. All that. Yes, this should be about. If you guys have some things you do that are fun at games, by all means, do those things. We're not here to ruin your party.
That's right. That's right. You know, one of my lines has always been, we may not win the game, but we're going to win the party. And we like to do that. Again, we're here, within bounds. We're here to host these out-of-town fans. And if it's within the bounds and cowbells and tortillas and horses running down the field, those are within the bounds.
If it's things you do at a home game, that means they're okay to be done at a college football game.
There you go.
You're okay to do it with us.
Absolutely. So come and enjoy that and experience it. I think it's going to be incredible.
That's what these bowl games really. For me, it's about the players, and the fans.
Yep,
that's the only two things that matter for bowl games to me. And if a player doesn't want to play in it, okay, that's fine. That's your choice. I don't care because it's about you. Like it's your reward for your season. And if you don't want the reward, I'm fine. You can turn down your reward anytime you want. And the fans, it's a reward for you. It's a chance for you to go have some fun in a different city that you don't normally get to go to.
Indeed.
No doubt about that. Well, anytime these bowl games are going on or any other action like the Grizzlies tonight or eventually when the Tigers return to the court, great place to go watch all of the action is East Coast Wings and Grill, located just off Highway 64. Maybe you're out in the Wolf Chase area doing some Christmas shopping, some last-minute Christmas shopping. Well, they're right between Lowe's and Walmart, so I know there's going to be a bunch of cars right there in that area. You can stop in. You might need a drink trying to battle the crowds at those two places, I'll tell you that much. You may need a quick drink over at East Coast Wings and Grill, or maybe a little food, 60 different flavors of wings to choose from. 24 draft beers on tap. 3:30 to 6 Monday through Friday is happy hour. So if you plan your shopping correctly today, you can get over there between 3:30 and 6. You get 2-for-1 beers during happy hour at East Coast Wings and Grill. Again, located on Kate Hyde Boulevard. That's the road off Highway 64 that splits Lowe's and Walmart. Great food, great place to have some drinks, great people, great atmosphere, and a great place to watch the games. It's East Coast Wings and Grill. We'll continue with the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader right after this as we continue on Sports 56 Mornings here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is Brett Norsworthy from Sports 56 Sports Time in the afternoon, 3 to 6, and I want to wish all of you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Have a great holiday season. Enjoying Gabe Kuhn and me for Sports 56 Sports Time from 3 to 6 every afternoon right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
We have a job to do. To protect the peace, the pride, and the people of our city. To realize our greatness together. To do the work that matters for ourselves, our families, our community. Do you have the strength to serve? Learn the true value of a challenging and rewarding career in law enforcement with the Memphis Police Department. Join the best in blue. Visit joinmpd.com.
Testing? Hey, can you hear me? You can? Well, if you enjoy hunting or shooting, how important is your hearing? If your kids hunt and shoot, how can you protect their hearing? Well, the guys at Tactical Guns and Gear in Collierville can get you set up with a silencer for your rifle, handgun, even your shotgun. I promise they'll get you on your way to a much more enjoyable shooting experience. They have more silencers in stock than you'll find anywhere, and so much more, all in one stop. Save your hearing while you still can. Tactical Guns and Gear, Highway 72 in Collierville. Can you hear me now?
Let me tell you about the coolest place you got to go check out. It is the Old Dominick Distillery, located right in the heart of downtown. Old Dominick offers full distillery tours, curated tastings, and craft cocktails. So whether you're stopping in for a refreshing drink while you're exploring downtown Memphis, or maybe you're finishing up a night out in style, the bar at Old Dominick Distillery offers up carefully crafted cocktails to suit everybody's taste in an elevated yet relaxed atmosphere. Pull up a stool at the bar and join Old Dominick mixologists for a cocktail made entirely with spirits produced under the watchful eye of master distiller Alex Castle. So whether you fancy an old-fashioned or maybe you want to try a flight of Old Dominick products, the expert mixologists at Old Dominick, they're ready to serve you. Visit OldDominick.com for bar hours, or maybe you want a 45-minute tour. Any way you look at it, you'll love Old Dominick.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus in Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs. Call Brandon McCullough at 901-438-5084 or go online to newroofmemphis.com. They have been with us for many a year, and they are locally owned and operated and very dependable. They offer financing with many different plans and options, including a 6, 12, or 18-month same as cash option. They'll work with your insurance company or out of pocket, whatever it takes. Pinnacle is part of the Roofs for Troops program. Any veteran, active or retired, you get a $250 rebate on the purchase of a new roof. Pinnacle does both residential and commercial roofing. So business owners and property managers out there, along with homeowners, if you have a leak or any other roofing problem, call Brandon today. They'll come out and do a free roof inspection. They are licensed, bonded, and insured, and a member of the Better Business Bureau. You get a 5-year labor warranty on the purchase of a new roof, and all their work is satisfaction guaranteed. Once again, as I always talk about, don't forget about the $100 referral fee for all new roofs. You tell somebody about Pinnacle, they use Pinnacle to get a new roof, you pick up $100 for that referral. Pinnacle does work around the home like carpentry work, exterior painting. They can replace gutters, put up shingles and fencing, siding, rotten wood repair. Whatever you can't do yourself, call the experts at Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration. Quality work at a very reasonable price. Once again, the phone number, 901-438-5084. Give Brandon a call today. Tell him you heard it here on Sports 56 Middays, or go online to newroofmemphis.com. It's Pinnacle Roofing and Restoration for all your roofing and home repair needs.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Now, more of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour. Here are your hosts, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Harold Grader.
Welcome back. It is Eli and Harold. No Greg today. Again, final show of the week for us here on Sports 56 Mornings. Final hour of the week here, as we will not have a show tomorrow on Christmas Eve, talking about the AutoZone Liberty Bowl coming up Tuesday evening here in Memphis with Texas Tech and Mississippi State. The bowl games so far, I think they've been very entertaining. We've had a lot of points scored. We've had a lot of close games. Last night's game ended up being a great finish with Army kicking the field goal on the last play of the game to beat Missouri. We've seen some of the Wyoming-Kent State game the other day. The quarterbacks in that game combining for 10 touchdowns between them, running, throwing, everything else. It's been a lot of fun so far.
Yeah, and again, what you just said is what we talked about before the break, and what the bowl games outside of the New Year's Six and the playoff are really about. Have fun, entertaining games. Sorry for our friends at Mizzou. If I'm not mistaken, that is their third consecutive bowl loss.
Yeah, they said they haven't
right.
won a bowl game since 2014, I believe it was.
It's been a while. Yeah. So sorry for them. But on the flip side of that, Army, West Point, which we had here last year, happy for Jeff Munkett and that staff and those kids. And, we were watching the end of that one, and I just thought, what was it, like a 41, 42?
41-yarder, and his career long was 41 yards.
Yeah, and I was like, and it was on the left hash, and I'm thinking.
Which was the wrong.
Oh, my
goodness.
goodness.
Did you see Munkin talking to the quarterback? You could read his lips. Because they ran the one play. They got down there, and then they ran a play, and the quarterback just was supposed to put it in the middle of the field.
Middle.
And he went to the left hash mark.
Yep.
And when he came to the sideline, Munkin goes, you could read his lips. He said, we didn't want it on that hash. And the quarterback, the look on his face was like, because he's the third quarterback in the game. He's only in the game because he was the thrower of the two they had left. And you could just, the look on his face was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Like you could see he felt so terrible that he didn't understand where he was supposed to put the ball.
Because I thought, this poor kid, if he pulls it left, that would be crushing. Crushing.
Well, as it turned out,
he drilled it.
He did.
He drilled it.
As it turned out, if he would have pulled the first one left, he would have got another chance because Missouri had two number 6s on the field, which would have been, you talk about a rough, if he had missed it and they had called that penalty and then he made the second one, you talk about a rough way to lose a game.
Whoa.
If you had two number 6s on the field.
And that whole rule, I mean, obviously the Tigers faced that situation against State, oddly enough, that wasn't called. And, and I don't know what you do about that. I mean, because you have a gazillion guys on roster, multiple double numbers. But after the Tiger situation, I started looking at the rosters at various schools, and typically, or this is just the way it is, when you have the double number, usually one guy's on offense, one guy's on defense. But on special teams, you have your best athletes out there. And as we saw in the Tiger game earlier, and then in the game last night, when things are wild and scrambling, and you're on special teams or you're on kick coverage, you'll wind up. Sometimes you wind up on the field together, and it's like, we missed that. Those two guys have the same number. To penalty.
Me, I don't.
But does it?
It doesn't matter. I don't know why you couldn't make an exception that on special teams, on kick plays, it doesn't matter if you have two of the same. Because why? Yeah. Really, it doesn't matter anytime. But other than calling a penalty on the guy, and all it is you're announcing a number. So you announce number 6. So there were two on the field. The coach can figure out which one was the penalty is on. Like when they watch film, because the crowd doesn't care. They don't care which number 6 it was on or anything like that. So I don't even really understand why necessarily the rule is in place.
Right.
But to me, especially like on special teams plays, why not just say it doesn't matter? You can have two of the same number on the field on kick plays.
Yeah. You would think, since it's happened multiple times, or at least two that we're aware of this year, that the competition committee or whoever examines issues like that this offseason will take a look at that.
Yeah, as well as because even when it happened with Memphis, I thought about it. I'm like, what does it really? Who cares if there's a guy?
Yeah.
Like I could even see it if, like you say, like you don't want on offense like two receivers wearing the same number because like the defense may want to know which one is which.
Yeah,
like they're like, hey, this corner is supposed to always go with number 8. Well, if there's two number 8s, he doesn't know which one.
Yeah.
So I can understand, but on kicking plays, when it's only time it's ever going to happen, I don't really see the need as far as that is concerned. What did you think of? And again, there's very few options available, but what did you think of the College Football Playoff Committee and Bill Hancock basically saying that, listen, if a team can't play, they're just going to have to forfeit, and that's the way it is, and the other team will advance on.
I guess that's just reality, and you can't slow down. I think they did talk about a backup date for the national championship game. They can take it back as far as
up until the 14th.
Yeah. So there is some wiggle room, because you're talking about building availability, television schedules, all of that stuff, and you're talking about big business at that level. And so you just got to carry on, which is why, folks like Nick Saban and his program go the nth degree to protect their team. Because, again, thinking back to last year, if anybody was going to figure it out and follow the protocols and make sure they played, it was going to be Alabama.
Yeah.
And, again, you would think that would be the case for all 4 teams that are in the playoff, that we have worked our tails off. We've gotten to this point. Don't be a knucklehead. Follow the rules, whatever the protocols are, and because we want to play these games.
Yeah. Well, I can only imagine. What Nick Saban is.
So back to your question, not surprised by that because they got to carry on.
Yeah, and I think it's unfortunate if that were to happen, but I don't know what else. You can't just keep you can't say, one of the teams can't play a semifinal, or we're going to play the game in a week and see if you can play it. Right. Well, what if they can't play it then?
Right.
And you got to. That's the thing. It's an impossible situation they're trying to deal with. So you just have to do it. And it's, and again, we know that Alabama has a couple of coaches. We don't know anything about any players. Georgia, there was the question of whether he might turn to JT Daniels.
Yeah.
And start him in this game. Well, now JT Daniels is out. So even if he is okay to be back for the game, I can't imagine if he misses the last basically week or so of preparation, he's suddenly going to start him. Now, maybe he comes in if Stetson Bennett is struggling, but I find it hard to believe he's going to turn to him if he's not practicing the last week or so.
And again, Eli, it's those game situation decisions, and it's next man up. You got to go with what you have. It may not be ideal, you may not like it, but you got to go. You got to play. You can't say we want a timeout here. We want to pause. We want to pause in the middle of the game. Give us a few hours. No, you got to go. You got to go. And it's a tough situation for them. You hate to see it for their program, but you just got to play on.
I also want to, and I'm not even sure if because obviously you're very busy with things, but did you see what happened with the Tyler Beatty situation and him not playing in their bowl game? And
I only saw the headline that he's not playing.
Well, and Eli Drinkowitz came out and said that he made the decision. Not Tyler Beatty. This was not Tyler Beatty opting out of the game. Tyler Beatty wanted to play. But Eli Drinkowitz said, no, we're not going to play. Because as he said, sometimes as coaching staff, we got to protect kids from themselves and look out for their future. And it doesn't, we don't believe it's worth it for him to play in the game. He wants to play, but, and Tyler's dad came out and said that, yes, he wanted to play. And they kind of had to sell him on the fact of not playing. And this is where I go back to disagreeing with Mike Leach on his whole thing about like these kids are like, this was a coach saying, no, you're not, it's just dumb. It's dumb for you to play in this game. And it's interesting because Tyler was there on the sideline, all that. He's cheering on his teammates and everything else. But it's like when you hear coaches and all these people criticize guys for opting out, here was a coach saying, I know you want to play. We're not going to allow you to play.
Right. Kudos to Eli. And then you see, what happened last night. How big of a difference would he have made in that game? Probably a whole bunch. I mean, he's the leading rusher in the SEC.
They ran the ball well without him. He might have went nuts in that game because they ran for nearly 200 yards without him.
Yeah.
But it's just...
No, and I did not know those circumstances, so thank you for sharing that. Which sheds a whole different light on that situation, and it tells you a lot about the young man.
Yeah.
But it also tells you something about the coach. Yeah. And, Eli is working his way through being the new head coach there at Mizzou, and they obviously have great aspirations. And we met their new athletics director, late in the season, and had great conversations with her. And she's all in with Eli. And again, they want to build that program and be competitive and be in the mix in the SEC. So we'll see. And but as far as a coach and a person, for the head coach to step out and say, this is the story. This is why this young man is not playing. Speaks volumes about him as a head coach.
See, because when I first saw it, I thought maybe he's just kind of like trying to protect him.
Right.
Like he opted out, but he's going to say, you know what? I'm going to almost take the bullet. If people want to try and criticize it for opting out, no, it's on us. But I mean, then I read the comments from his dad in the St. Louis Post-Dispatch, and he said, no, he really wants to play. Like his family was already there, like ready for the game. Like, and they had to kind of sell Tyler on not playing.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Tyler. I've talked to his dad a little bit. We're gonna have Tyler on the show here very soon. But it'll be interesting to hear from his perspective on that.
Yeah.
But he's going to the NFL now, and it was just interesting. Obviously, and they didn't even play their quarterback either. That was a different. He's playing a different quarterback. Like Missouri clearly used this game as kind of like a developmental game of like we're gonna see what we got for the future.
Looking to next year, again, building the program. And you really can't blame him. Again, they didn't have the year they were hoping to have, but they were able to get to a bowl game. And, again, building for next year. When I was down in Starkville last week, that was Thursday when I got there. I was there for the last little bit of practice. And at that point, they had all the young guys on the field. And, again, we all know that's part of what bowl practices are.
One of the main reasons coaches want to go to bowls is for those extra practices.
You get those extra practices. You get the young guys some reps. It's like spring ball session 1, and then you'll have your normal spring ball later on. So that's what they were doing at Mississippi State last week when I was down there on Thursday. And then then they would, when they gather back up after the kids have gone home for a few days, then key in on their bowl prep and focus on Texas Tech.
I do. A lot of people have brought this up. They have the rule now where you can play the 4 games and still redshirt.
Right.
A lot of people have said bowl games shouldn't count If you've played 4 games and you play a bowl game, that's fine.
Right.
Like, the bowl game should not be counted as a game towards a red shirt or not. I 100% agree with that, because if a coach does want to use the game to get some young guys some reps or whatever, why not? Why not let? Or if a game turns into a blowout, like you got some young kids who have they played 4 games during the year. Get those kids in the game. Let them get the bowl experience. Why
Absolutely.
not? Who cares what we're doing as far as that is concerned?
Eli, I would agree with that. Absolutely.
I mean, it's in the end. And somebody texted in. They said, so if Missouri was in the playoff, do you think he would have held Beatty out? No. Because he's in the playoff. He's trying to win a national championship.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
It's understand. It's the same thing with the players. There's a reason the players aren't opting out of the playoff.
Right.
They understand the difference in playing for a national championship or playing in a bowl game. That they're great. Again, they're a lot of fun, all that stuff.
Absolutely.
But in the end, winning or losing it doesn't have a big effect on what happens. So I don't have a problem with a player or coach realizing the difference between any one of the, 40, how many bowl games?
42.
42 bowl games and the playoff.
Right.
There is a difference.
Sure.
It's like the playing in the NIT versus the NCAA or whatever. Like there's a difference. You understand that, and guys can make their own decisions based on that. Coaches can make their own decisions based on that as well. Sweetgrass in Midtown at Cooper and Young. Used to be Sweetgrass next door. Now it's just one place. They knocked the wall out. They got the big old bar in there. They've got some great food. I always talk about the pimento cheeseburger that they have, which is absolutely delicious. They've got all kinds of other great things. Ryan Trim, one of the great chefs here in our city, he and his staff over there do such a great job. Their Sunday brunch is outstanding as well. Of course, you can get plenty of drinks there at the big old bar. They've got TVs to watch games as well at Sweetgrass. It's located basically right at the intersection of Cooper and Young. It's great food, great drinks. Go by, check them out again. Try out the Sunday brunch. You will absolutely love the Sunday brunch. You can go to sweetgrassmemphis.com and check out the menu there. See all of the great things that they have on their menu. They got the dinner menu. You got the brunch menu changes week to week, so you can't always find out as far as that is concerned. But you can get information on catering as well. They do catering. I've been at some parties actually that they have catered, and it's outstanding stuff. Sweetgrass, Cooper, and Young. Back with more right after this. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl Hour continues right after this here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Peter Edmiston and Anthony Sane bring you Sports 56 Grind Time. Brought to you by Poultry Power. Weekdays from 1 to 3 on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Camp out in the iconic Memphis Pyramid at Big Cypress Lodge with one-of-a-kind rooms overlooking Bass Pro Shop's most unique shopping destination. Take the sky-high ride in the nation's tallest freestanding elevator for an unforgettable dining experience with sweeping views of the city lights. Located in the heart of downtown Memphis, come explore the city's most exciting attraction. Plan your next getaway to Big Cypress Lodge.
I'm Shelby County Sheriff Floyd Bonner. If you're really looking for something that you want to do, that you go home feeling good about, feeling a sense of accomplishment, then becoming a deputy sheriff or corrections deputy is a way to do it. Text our recruiting team now at 901-569-0430. We believe there's a deputy in all of us.
Santa's ready to put you in a new sleigh today at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. And Rudolph's got a new 2022 Outlander, $369 a month. Not a lease, you own it. Plus, get our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 2.64 APR. Outlander NZO 43358. MSRP 31040. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax on license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 12/31/21. Dealer stock only.
It's the year-end sales event at Gossett Mitsubishi, featuring the all-new 2022 Outlander. Rule the road with Mitsubishi's super all-wheel control and wireless smartphone technology, plus an industry-leading 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Unwrap yours starting at $26,095. Only at Gossett Mitsubishi. Get thunderstruck.
Super all-wheel controls and available feature on all trim levels. Manufacturer suggested
retail price based on Outlander ES2WD excludes estimation, handling, tax title license, etc. Retailer price terms and vehicle availability may vary. See dealer for limited warranty and program details. Offer ends 1/3/22.
I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we're both with Mark's Bensdorf Realtors. Well, a lot of people think about buying or selling a home being as much fun as having root canal. We can tell you that if you go about it the right way, it's like winning the lottery.
That's right, Sheldon. If you prepare prior to your home search or home sale, which includes using us as your agents, you'll feel like you've accomplished every objective you set out to attain, and you've won the lottery.
If you value experience and knowledge and rely upon those that can guide you to a successful conclusion, there's no better call to make than to us. Even after talking to 2 to 3 other real estate brokers, most people come back to us because their friends have told them that when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
Or Mallory Moves Memphis in whatever part of town you're in.
Call or email me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Or you can reach me, Hugh Mallory, at 497-9756.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten at memphisrelocate.com or 483-0546. Do it now so you can win the lottery.
Tomorrow is Christmas Eve. You're still procrastinating like most of us do. You're looking for those final gifts, and how about those stocking stuffers? Well, I have the place for you. It's Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates. They've been around Memphis and the Mid-South for many, many years, and they got something for you. They're elves. The Dinstall's elves are still working hard to keep the store stocked with your favorite goodies. So why not get on over there and get some treats for the stockings, from chocolate Santas, the foiled Christmas balls, to Cashew Crunch, to Turtlettes, to all their delectables, or a gift certificate for someone who would certainly love to get on over to Dinstall's one day and pick out their own special candies. It's Dinstall's for Christmas or for any time of the year. 5 convenient locations: Laurelwood, Germantown, Collierville, Pleasant View, where they make the candies, and downtown Memphis. Again, Dinstall's for Christmas or anytime. Dinstall's Fine Candies and Chocolates.
Welcome back to Sports 56 Mornings. This hour is brought to you by Acura of Memphis. Now, more of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour. Here are your hosts, Greg Gaston, Eli Savoy, and Harold Grader.
Welcome back. Final segment here of the Sports 56 Mornings, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football Hour with Harold Grader. Eli Savoy here, no Greg today. Of course, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl coming up next Tuesday, December the 28th, 5:45 or 5:50, I guess, 5:50 kickoff technically, over at Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium, which, again, we believe, I guess this will be the final game played in Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium.
That is what we are anticipating. Indeed.
History will be made.
History will be made.
When they turn out the lights after this one, it'll...
And then they're going to turn them back on, and voila, there's a new name.
For your game, do you guys have any, like, the end zone deck area that they use for the university? But you guys, you're just regular seating as far as all that stuff's concerned. I didn't know I didn't know how permanent or how easy or difficult. I thought it was just scaffolding that you could take down.
Had we known it was going to be 70 degrees on game day, we may have changed those plans. But yeah, all of that they had at Tiger games, that's been removed.
Has there been any more? What is the schedule as far as discussions about the renovations and changes to the stadium? Let alone the name change, but the other stuff.
Those are conversations that are occurring between the city of Memphis and the university. Now, we've been assured that at some point, all of us, meaning the 3 football tenants, us, Southern Heritage Classic, in addition to the university, we are told at some point we'll be brought to the table to.
But you haven't yet.
But we have not yet. Okay. But what we're hearing is exciting and will be good for all the tenants, the fans, some great amenities, and improvements that are to say that they are overdue would be an understatement. And again, we understand the reality of the financial situation here, but we're pleased to know that the city leadership understands that the stadium needs this, the tenants need it. It's the way that facilities like Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium to stay up to date, and the fan amenities and what the expectations are from your audience, from your customers. You got to do those things. And so we're pleased to see that. Obviously, ultimately tying that all in with all of the other projects that are going on out at what is now called Liberty Park. You have the new multi-purpose sports building going up. If you drive by the fairgrounds, Liberty Park, you'll see that structure going up.
It's going up quick.
Going up quick because it's going to open, I think, maybe late summer, early fall, I think is the anticipation. There where Liberty Land used to be. I know they have. When I left the stadium yesterday. The land that fronts Central Avenue, where the high school football stadium was, that land is being cleared and being prepared for construction. So a lot going on, and it all ties together. And even though there's going to be this bright, shiny, new multi-purpose building, which is great. We all still believe that, the crown jewel of that facility, that area, is Liberty Bowl Memorial Stadium. We anticipate in 2022 for it to be called Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. So glad to see that there is a vision to improve the stadium. And again, that'll be good for all involved. And we're looking forward to that and being a part of those conversations and seeing it happen.
We'll have the bright, shiny new building. We've got the building that is the main feature, and then we got some other dump of a building that they won't knock down. But I won't get into that right now. We're going to leave that alone for right now. All right. You mentioned the weather forecast looks beautiful.
Yeah.
First of all, game tickets, if somebody wants that, because like I said, maybe they, it's going to be a nice day. I got nothing else going on. I'd like to go out there and see some good college football. But also, what of the other events can folks still get tickets to that you have?
The Sunday night Pro Rodeo out at Showplace Arena. You can go to our website and order those tickets online, or beginning Sunday, the day of the event, starting at 10 o'clock out at Showplace, we'll have a ticket operation out there where you can go buy your tickets in advance before the event on Christmas. On the 26th.
What time is the rodeo?
The 7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, okay.
So, again, this is the 33rd annual AutoZone Liberty Bowl Pro Rodeo, and it's become quite the family event. Again, it's the day after Christmas. Looking for something different to do, and if you're into rodeo, or even if you're not and you've never experienced it, go on out. And we're pretty sure we're working on. I think the details are more or less in place to have the aforementioned fearless champion, the Black Stallion,
Yes.
and the Masked Rider making an appearance at the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Pro Rodeo.
I like that. Okay, so tickets to the rodeo are available.
Tickets to the rodeo, and then the pregame buffet.
There's still
game
tickets
day,
available,
which is all you can eat, all you can drink. $50 is the cost of that ticket. That gets underway at 2:30 on game day. So again, that's all you can eat, all you can drink. There'll be a party band in each of the buildings, the Pipkin and the Creative Arts. Open bar, barbecue buffet. And again, that's a great time, to grab a great meal, have some entertainment, but also interact with the fans. If you're a local and you're one of our longtime supporters and you are not affiliated with either school, it's a great time to interact with those fans, especially the folks now, from Texas Tech who are coming here for the first time, and just to talk to them and share the experience and give them restaurant suggestions and all of those things. Again,
see what they thought, because a lot of them will have been here for 3-4 days. See what they think of it. I always find it interesting to find when tourists are in town. What do you think of Memphis? What are your thoughts? Like, what have you done? I think it's interesting to hear outsiders' perspectives that have never been here before, because sometimes a lot of people in the city like to run down the city, badmouth it, but then you hear somebody who's here for the first time and tell you how great it is. You kind of go, you know what? It's not, things aren't so bad here. Yeah, exactly. And that's always very nice to hear that, and kind of get you re-energized and enthused as a Memphian to hear folks say those nice things about our city, because we have a lot of things to offer. I did a radio show Sunday afternoon, a show in New Orleans, and the host was asking me about that. And I told him, I said, look, we talk about football, food, and music
for Memphis. Kind of sums up the AutoZone Liberty Bowl experience more or less. And, we know we're always going to have and anticipate having a great football game. You come here for the music, whether it's the clubs on Beale Street or at our game this year. We're having one of the Memphis music icons, Jason D. Williams, performing at halftime. Andy Childs at our gala on Monday night at the Peabody, another Memphis music icon. And then it's the food, obviously the barbecue. But we know, you mentioned Ryan Trim, one of the great chefs in our city, that, we are known around the world for our barbecue. But Memphis is a great food
There
town.
are so many other
way
great
beyond that.
places.
And again, it's the barbecue that gets the attention, more or less. But for folks who are really into the food scene, we have great options. And again, that's what folks from out of town are looking for. And I don't know if you do this.
And we got plenty of alcohol.
There's plenty of that to be had.
Which is the other thing a lot of these bowl goers are looking for.
If that's what you're looking for, we have that as well.
Especially Iowa State. But
yeah, that's the Busch Light. And so again, football, food, music, the authenticity of our city. And there's only one St. Jude. There's only one National Civil Rights Museum. There's only one Sun Studio. There's only one Graceland. And right down the list, only one Stax.
Yeah.
If you're into those things and want to visit those, there are other National Civil Rights Museums and on and on and on. But Memphis, Tennessee, it's authentic. There's one of a kind, and we're the home of all of that. And those are things and those are amenities that as Memphians we should take great pride in. And those are the things that we showcase to our visitors when we're asked, well, where should we go? What should we do? We point them to those places. Our zoo. Have a great zoo. Have a world-class zoo. And I know that, we make arrangements for the families of our two teams. Coaches' families, athletic department staff, have their families, wives, and kids go to the zoo.
Again, we're gonna have
it's all a part of it.
We got great weather to go to the zoo.
Absolutely.
We're going to have great weather to go to the zoo.
So a lot going on. And
what's the phone number?
To offer. The number at the world headquarters of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl in beautiful downtown East Memphis, 795-7700 for game tickets. You could call us. You could go to Ticketmaster.com. Go check us out online. So a lot going on. We invite you to be a part of it. Again, be a part of the quote-unquote bowl experience. Interact with the out-of-town fans. It's going to be a blast. And we're looking forward to it. Again, teams arrive Christmas Day afternoon, and then we are off to the races, and we won't slow down until the buses. We see the taillights of the buses headed out of the ballpark on Tuesday night.
Well, we'll wrap it all up next Thursday.
We will indeed. How about that?
Sounds good to me. Sounds good. Sounded good to you?
Sounds good to me.
Well, have a good Christmas.
Hey, thank you, Eli. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everyone. Enjoy your families. Make memories. And we look forward to seeing everybody with us on the 28th, 5:45.
That's Harold Grader, the AutoZone Liberty Bowl Inside College Football. This hour of our program brought to you each and every day by Acura of Memphis. Check them out on Ridgeway at 385 or online at acuraofmemphis.com. Again, for everybody out there, we will not have a show tomorrow, so have a very Merry Christmas. We will be back on Monday to wrap up a big weekend, including, of course, the Memphis Tigers and the Hawaii Bowl and all the other bowl action, and get you even more prepared for the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. Coming up next, it's Wolo and Friends. Of course, Wolo is not here, but it'll be J. Morgan Harder and Bryant Dacus in for Wolo. Then you got Sports 56 Happy Hour, followed by Grind Time and Sports Time here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Thanks to Zach Boyd, thanks to Harold Grader, and John Varlas, and Keith Wood, and Matt Dillon. Again, Merry Christmas, everyone. Have a great weekend.